Welcome to 2019, folks. It is the first roundtable of the year. I'm Ben, your friendly neighborhood Canadian hippie.
Spider-Man.
I have to say that because I'm not wearing the poor boy cap. To the west of me, tuning in from the GTA, we have the guitar hack himself, new logo. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How's everybody out there doing? How you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good.
And then
north of the guitar hack, so northwest of me, we have the ambassador of YouTube, Terry himself. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. And yourself? Hope everyone else is having a positive 2019.
So far, so good. And then all the way out on the west coast, which we know is the best coast, we got JJ himself of his own House of Jams. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Rock and roll, everybody. And yeah, happy Sunday, man. Welcome all.
Yes, yes. I'm going to do some roll call work here. Let's see, because I got to use a mouse instead of the touchpad. Starting at the top, we have Dennis Brio tuning in from New Hampshire, I believe. We've got Absolute Mayhem from Napanee, Ontario. We've got Chuck Booth from Parts Unknown, only because he's new to the channel. I don't know where he's from. We got Rob, 21,271, or 21271, which could be a zip code. We've got, let's see, Will Varela in the house. We've got Brian Stewart in the house. We've got Metal Stage O, Sinner himself.
Yo!
I gotta check out that show from last night. I've heard from these guys. It got crazy. I don't know. We got JP Page 2. We've got Four Walls Music. Welcome, my new friend. I met him over on Pete Thorne's show earlier today.
Yeah, hey, Four Walls.
Speaking of which, everyone should subscribe to Four Walls Music. He's doing original music and trying to grow the community. Check out his channel, folks.
Sweet.
We got RJ in the house, Mad Raj himself, who had some stellar comments during TK's live stream last night. Denny Allen's here. Rick Hefner's here. The winner of the Poof t-shirt. Oh, there we go. We have Brian Fingerless Guitar in the house, which is rather fitting because I believe on the back of the shirt, I can't check because I'm wearing it. It says New Haven, Connecticut, and he's a Connecticut boy. I'm not saying we're in Connecticut because, you know, we're not saying. Paul Millard's in the house. Todd Flowers is here. Blackie DH, good to see you. Michael B.
Yes.
Paul Liu. Brian from Oregon. David Ennis. Han 36 Solo. Brian Landreth. Wow. Everybody's here.
Awesome.
Four Walls Music says, if you're going to check out my channel, definitely keep the standards low. Hey, can't be any lower than my I keep the bar awfully low. We try to achieve Wayne's World status. Beyond that, forget it.
Yeah, we were pretty low last night, man. It was fun. Oh, your fault, Terry. You were there. You're the instigator.
Oh, yeah.
There's MPH.
It was a great time, man.
That's funny.
Oh,
well, peace everyone in the chat, man. Rock on.
Yeah, we got 34 people already watching. Matthew Stewart. Jeez, everyone's jumping in. So everyone had, let's see, since the last time I saw you guys, we had the holidays. I assume everybody had a good holiday. Time with family, friends.
Kind of ending today. Kids are back at school tomorrow, so today's kind of the last one, you know?
Everything starts back tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
JJ's holidays start then.
I wish.
I think JJ's holidays are going to start in a little less than 3 weeks.
Yeah, the countdown is getting real close, so it's getting super exciting. And obviously, we're talking about NAMM.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the next time we get together will be after NAMM. Jeff Harper, good to see you. Yeah, Dave Byron.
Dave Byron's here.
Hey, rock on, Dave Byron.
Adam EVH, how are you?
Congrats again, Dave, on your successful clearance of...
Yes.
Great words.
Very positive. Everyone's saying kids back to school, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Just they're gonna
just learning from Ben and Jason how to make videos. There you go. Yeah, it's called use an iPhone, do it in one take, post it.
Oh, new gig playing bass. Now I have to learn how to play bass.
Brian Landry. How are you?
Good luck with that, Brian. I thought it wouldn't be a big deal till I offered to sub in on bass for a band one night, and after 2 songs, my arms were killing me.
Welcome, Zach.
Were you playing chords?
At times.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, well, it was a trio, so when the lead player would take a lead break, I was doing a lot of octave stuff or playing chords on the D and G strings, straight out of Lemmy's book. And of course, I was running through my pedal board too, of course.
Sounded great, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, the Electro-Harmonix Crayon on jazz bass gave it, just with the gain up about a third of the way, just a bit of a growl on it. Ooh.
Oh, that would be.
Yeah, not a full distorted bass like a punk rock, but just, a bit of a growl. So if anyone in the chat has any questions or comments, feel free to ask away. We'll do our best to answer it.
Metal
Brian's got
Stage
the
Zero
bass down.
bass chat.
Brian's got the bass down. Thump, 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 repeat. That's about it.
Yep. And I think he wrote that in quarter notes too.
Yeah,
Well, maybe eighth notes.
maybe.
Gussie Wells is in the house.
Hey, Gussie.
Gussie.
Yeah, get the groove going on the bass, man. Groove.
Did I use a pick on the bass? Dave Byron, I started the night, I thought, no, I'm not going to use a pick. I'm going to be like my bass player, Larry. I'm going to thump it out, and that lasted 1 song. And my fingers just cramped because they're like, you never do this. So I immediately grabbed a pick and used one the rest of the night.
We got a question. Matthew Stewart is asking, has anyone used the TC Mimic Doubler? I know a little bit about that. It's useless unless you're using 2 amps.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah.
Well, you can still use it with 1 amp. It just not as much.
Doesn't really do a hell of a
Yeah,
lot. It's really designed for 2 amps, and the idea is you slightly delay them, and it gives the illusion that you've got 2 guitars playing.
Right. And it has basically the sloppiness level too, right? How tight or loose the...
Yeah, you can control the yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a cool effect.
I'm trying to remember. I
you
know
really got to run stereo.
But I don't think I ever got around to it.
Four Walls Music has a question for us.
Ooh.
Best amp for someone like him that plays at home and for YouTube. And he preferably leans towards playing rock.
And I want to say hello and welcome to Jovenci Vlogs. Haven't seen that name before. Welcome.
Oh, hey,
If you
Jovenci.
enjoy, please subscribe.
Hello, Jovenci.
People are talking a lot about that DSL-20 these days. And that's kind of reasonable, isn't it?
The DSL-20, the Marshall
You know
head.
what? If I was strictly a home player, I'd probably get a modeling amp.
I was thinking the same.
Just for variety.
I was just going to say, probably with this group, you're going to probably get 4 different responses, which is a good thing.
Yep.
Yeah, what jumps straight into everyone's head,
Probably a katana.
Some that's got a line out that you can run right into the computer, because that's what it sounds like he wants to do if he wants to do the
Exactly.
Yeah, only the one thing that's behind me, and Ben also has behind him, PV Viper VIP 2.
Yeah.
Right there.
Something with a USB on it and built-in effects.
Yep. Old man Dan, good to see you.
Unless you're a pedal, what if he's a pedal board guy? So he's got
If you're a pedal board guy, then I'd say a Fender Blues Jr.
I'd say Marshall DSL.
If I had to actually fully round out my answer and thoughts on that, it would be, again, the PV Viper VIP 2, or if you need the extra wattage, the VIP 3, which is relatively cheap, with the controller. Boss Katana, again, with its foot controller. And if you're looking to pay a little bit extra, JJ's favorite device.
Oh, the Helix, of course.
Helix.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, they got the Stomp now as well. I mean, how much extra are we talking? I mean, the Stomp's like $500 or $599.
Yeah.
And that thing's pretty awesome, man. It's all in there, and you can go direct into your computer, out to FRFR, or straight into your own amp. You've got everything you need right there. $600 and limitless pedals and amps. That would be my #1 recommendation.
If you're wanting an amp that was straight up and you didn't have to worry about recording over USB, you just wanted to mic it, as Blackie DH said, the original Viper series, the Viper 30 is a great little starter amp.
Yeah, I think I had the 15 and the 30 in the original line at one time. And I actually preferred the original Viper over the VIP 2 because it had a few options in it that the newer one doesn't. And there's stuff in the newer one that I don't need. But I do like the option now that I could plug a bass into the Viper if I wanted to.
Yep, bass or an acoustic.
Yeah.
Heard a lot about the katana. Yeah, the katana is he's mentioning Four Walls as the katana. Yeah, the katana is a good choice. Everybody raves about it, and it's got all the built-in effects, and you can go straight out. Yeah.
Yeah, Todd was in our live chat last night. He has, I think, was it Todd who had the katana, but he has the 40. And I think he was saying at louder volumes, it kind of struggles and it can woof out a little bit. So that's one thing to think about. If you want a bit of volume, stepping up to the 100.
That's the big drawback with the VIP 2 is that once you get probably over half and you start getting around that 3/4 range, which is that 30-watt range, it really starts doing, like JJ was saying, it kind of gets a little woofy.
I like what Todd Flower says. I'll take a Blues Junior or a Blues Deluxe. Yeah, the Blues Junior for at home and Deluxe on stage.
Just a second.
Matthew Stewart.
Let's see. Matthew Stewart has a question. MXR carbon copy versus the Echoplex. The Echoplex, I would say, is a better pedal, but you're paying more for it. You know, like, I think they are equally bang for the buck. I would say, you know, because the carbon copy does less, but it's cheaper. So, like, I've had a carbon copy for, geez, I don't know. I think I've had one since 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
2011, 2012, 2012. I don't know. I've had it a while.
Yeah.
And Janice says, I have nothing to contribute here, so I'm lurking. Well, thank you for lurking, Janice. We appreciate the lurking.
Nothing wrong with that at all,
Big
Janice.
thumbs up.
In fact, you can just learn more
Janice,
from
if you are in fact
everything.
lurking, you shouldn't have told us that you're lurking because now you are no longer lurking.
Yeah,
While you're there.
Good point.
I'm just playing. Yeah, I've carbon copy is one of those. I think, I don't know, maybe, I guess it's like a standard. It's one of those things that a lot of people just have. They just use it, you know?
Yeah, it was kind of the first of the affordable modulated delay, right? Like because it's been out for quite a while now. And I think, yeah, it became an industry standard that you're like, okay, what can I get better for the same money? Well, not much, but for a few bucks more, you know, it really opens it up. But it's a great stepping stone pedal, I think, especially if you do use the modulation at all. I don't, but I have in the past. Not much point putting modulation on a single slapback.
Yeah.
No. That'd be
hear
definitely strange.
Gussie says nothing compares to a real Echoplex. Well, that's true.
Yeah, the gang's all here. Brian Stewart, how are you, man?
Yeah, we got 44 people watching, unknown number of thumbs ups.
Brian,
all right, yes. Yeah, so, okay, Jason Way says get 100-watt Marshall stack. Why not?
Yeah. Brian from Oregon's here. How are you, Brian?
I believe 17 days until I leave for NAMM Mayhem. I think. Yeah, that makes sense because I fly out on the Wednesday and I fly home Monday. 11 thumbs ups. Hey, not bad. You know, we got 42 people watching.
That just went from 11 to 17.
Oh, well, thank you very much, folks.
So
yeah, nice.
JP Page 2 says his favorite delay is the TC Electronic Flashback. That's the one I use. Yeah, it's really good.
Yep.
Man.
I had that one, but the looper kept crapping out on me.
What's that?
At the time, I
looper kept messing out on me. It was intermittent how it worked. The looper. That was the great thing about that pedal. It had a looper on it.
You're talking about the Flashback?
Yeah.
Yeah. It does have a built-in looper. You say it didn't work for you?
No, it would work intermittently.
Ah.
So I ended up getting rid of that. But I did. It was great. It had great delays on it.
Yeah, there's
Tone print as well.
Yeah, it's got a lot of again, analog, digital, slapback. You got a lot of variations on it. Then you got the tone print as well, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say it's interesting is that NAMM is going on when it is, and oddly enough, on the 13th is actually CES, and that is where all the big computer technology people are, like AMD, NVIDIA, Intel, and they all go and they give their little info kind of things talking about the products that are coming out for 2019. So I was saying to myself, while I was sitting here listening to that, and I was saying to myself, you know, it really would suck if I was like really that highly into PC tech and guitar tech and I had did stuff like that, because NAMM and CES would be so close together. It's
Well,
like literally about like a week apart.
We were going to have a guest join us, but it looks like he won't be able to join us on camera, but he's going to try to join us in the chat. So that's all I'm going to say right there.
Okay. Paul Lou's got a question. Anybody use wireless? If so, what do you use? Looking for recommendations.
I do not, but again, what Jason Wade said is a very popular choice. The Line 6.
Line 6,
G10.
yeah.
I don't know what my wireless system is. I gave it to Absolute Mayhem to try it. He was over here on Friday night, which is why I wasn't in the chat during Johnny Beane's show. Mayhem and I were having a few pints, so and he brought my wireless unit. He was talking about getting a wireless unit. I'm like, here, take mine.
Yes, he was blown away by your generosity, he said last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He was like, dude gave me a wireless unit. Like, oh my God.
Mayhem's got a question too. He's asking, he says he has the Katana 100, and what two pedals would you recommend for metal rock? Well, I guess the Metal Zone would have to be one of them, no? That was a joke.
I have them both for you, Mayhem. I have a modded Metal Zone, and I also have the MXR full board distortion. Both would be excellent pedals for you.
Modded Metal Zone. Really?
Yeah, it's got a tri-gain mod in it, and one of them is actually Tube Screamer-esque.
Oh, okay.
Probably JHS mod.
I'm just going to scroll back. Matthew Stewart, how long is my flight to California supposed to be? Including an hour or hour and a half layover in San Francisco, I'm looking at about 9.5, 10 hours each way.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I actually, when I went to California years ago, it was a direct flight from Pearson, and it was literally 4.5 hours.
Well, I'm also not flying into LAX.
Yeah.
That would be a hassle.
Thankfully, man, that drive, that traffic.
Exactly. And that was my idea, to be the least amount of hassle on JJ and my dad, because my dad's giving me a lift up to Pearson. So, and thank you very much, Todd. Todd made a donation to the channel.
And back to that Metal Zone real quick. Don't forget there's a new one out, which I think is an extra 40, 50 bucks.
Oh, the Wazacraft one, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
It's not the Wazacraft. It's the newer one, isn't it? Or is it the Wazacraft?
No,
The last one I knew of was the Wazacraft.
Okay.
Yeah. I was asking the same thing old man Dan's asking. Are you flying into Ontario? California?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice little airport. Yeah.
That's funny. You're flying from Ontario into Ontario.
Yeah. It's Ontario.
I know. Yeah, it is Ontario, isn't it, JJ? Or no, Orange County.
County. John Wayne.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, Pilgrim.
And I wanted to mention Brad Miller made a contribution to the channel the other day, too. So I wanted to give him a shout out. He said no need, but I wanted to anyways. But yes, thank you very much, Todd. I actually had to log in to... I was escaping. I'm like, somebody was nice enough to make a contribution. The last thing I wanted to do was forget who it was. Yeah, I think I fly out of Toronto at like just after 4 p.m. Eastern, and then I land just after 10 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, in the evening. That's on the Wednesday, isn't it? Or the Tuesday? Okay.
Yeah, on the Wednesday. And then I fly out 10:30 Monday morning.
Right, sweet. If you survive now.
I was hoping to stay out longer, but unfortunately I can't. Metal Stage O Center, where do you contribute? There's a link to my PayPal in the description of the video for those curious. And then there's also links for merch. So if you want something in return, get yourself a t-shirt or a coffee mug or a hoodie or, I don't know, a baby onesie like Mayhem bought for his grandchild. Corrupting that one early in life.
Yeah, and shout out to Flipside, man. We'll be meeting him first day, I think. Ike.
That's right. Thursday morning. Flipside Music. Check them out at the Denver, Colorado. They have a YouTube channel as well. In the links down below. I think they're about halfway down. Check out Ike and Dylan have a weekly show.
Yeah, definitely a go-to for me. If I end up in Colorado, I want to check his store out for sure, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been a great supporter of this channel. And look forward in 2019. Ike and I are going to be doing some stuff together. That's all I can say about it at this point. But you will see some collaborations between myself and Flipside Music.
Well, that's cool.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Also of note, Texas Toast Guitars also does collaborate with Flipside Music.
Right.
I do believe has a signature guitar being done by them.
That's right. They do.
Wow.
RJ, did you get to check out Joey Pantana's channel? No, I haven't, but I will, RJ. Actually, can you send me the link again? If you don't mind. And cheers, folks. I'm trying to free up some freezer space. See, I can't even say it, and I haven't even drank it yet. Woo.
Yeah, and check out RNA Music as well. Ike and Ryan from RNA are really good friends. And RNA I've watched for years. And yeah, brilliant channel. Great shop. Canton, Texas. And he has great products there. So shout out RNA and check out his channel. It's really fun stuff. His family and, you know, all musicians and singers. Really cool, man. So excited. That's it. Really cool. Really cool. A lot of unboxings because he likes to unbox most of the guitars that come through the store. Big shout.
Thank you very much, Sinner. I will do that. Sinner donated a channel, said to buy JJ a beer at NAMM. It's the least I can do.
Who's buying it? Sinner's buying me a beer?
Yep.
Oh, I tick one off the list. There we go. Yeah, beer.
Yes, I agree with what JJ said about Ryan and Angela. They're an amazing place for music. Angela does guitar lessons and vocal lessons as well too.
I've gotten a couple of requests.
Drummer as well, but he's a rockhead. He's a Metallica fan, full-on metalhead, and it's a really fun channel. And he puts out content all the time. It's cool. Check him out.
Chuck Booth, you got to get a picture with Pete Thorne. Fully planning on it. We're going to be in sort of the same circles. He's spending some time at the Friedman booth. I'm planning on spending some time at the Friedman booth as well.
Yeah, one of my favorite places of all time.
Janice asks, how long since my last haircut? I want to say maybe early September 2015.
Jeez.
Wow.
I think. Yeah, I had to get a cut. I was told I had to get a haircut for a wedding. I shouldn't have bothered.
Get a haircut, man.
Oh, with that length of hair, I mean, and they're basically saying cut it all off, not get a haircut. I mean, it's all or nothing in that situation, isn't it?
Well, I had short hair at the time.
Oh, you did? Okay, so they got you back to square one.
Yeah, well, my bangs were probably down to my mouth at that point, and I cut everything off but the bangs. So
Absolute mayhem. Last night, JJ was talking about culture shock from Ontario, Canada to USA, California. But does JJ laugh when he hears us Canadians say winter tires or even winter vehicles?
It's very English. What else would be said?
Yeah.
Winter tires. Well, snow tires was a trip. I learned that in the French Alps. Otherwise, you slide down the hill, man. Snow tires are a good idea. I presume that
Wells says, I bought a pedal from Action You Shall Receive. Is he in the chat? I don't know if he's ever been in the chat, Gussie. That's a good question. I am familiar with the site, though. I use that for pricing out a lot because he's got a lot of vintage stuff.
Who's that?
Axe and You Shall Receive. Basically, it's a guy who started collecting pedals, and then he started selling them as well, just vintage pedals and stuff. And he's had a few famous clients, so he's been able to flip some nice pedals over the years and stuff. But he's got an excellent database online too. I think if it's the website I'm thinking of, but I know I've checked it out before.
Yeah, I'll be back again in a second here, guys. Sorry.
Yep, quite all right. Quite all right.
I've been getting a lot of requests to put a Les Paul in the shot, so I got an
yeah,
that's close enough.
I saw that.
Yeah.
He's saying possibly St. Catharines. I was thinking Brantford, if it's the guy I'm thinking of. So I might be confusing two different people.
Welcome, Mr. Dana.
Hey, Dana and Barefoot Mode, if I didn't give you a shout out earlier. Good to see all come. We have 43 people watching. Nice.
How's it going, guys? And gals? How are you?
Yes, that's true. There are gals watching.
Todd Flower says, my moonshine looks like gasoline. Ironically enough, it's mint flavored, but it's not coming up on camera, but it's actually pink in color. Oh, that sucks. Chuck said he had to chop his hair off because he got too thin. Well, that's when you just rock the skullet, right? Nothing on top and still have it flown out back.
The Kim Mitchell look?
Oh, God.
Yeah, very much.
Ichabod Crane?
At least he came to his senses.
I did, him. I did. Yeah, did you guys happen to see Robert Baker's new guitar?
I was just going to say that. Congratulations to Mr. Robert Baker. I don't think he's in the side chat, but he and his missus combined together helped him to get a 1989 gold top Les Paul with P90s.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice looking guitar. Very nice.
Will says, be thankful I have hair. Believe me, dude, I am thankful. I remember I was dating a girl once, and I said to her, I hope you don't mind dating a guy with long hair. She said, hey, at our age, at least you have hair.
Yeah, I have hair too, but it's running away from my face.
Didn't Devin Townsend, he was rocking the skullet for a while before he shaved his head. So when RJ mentioned one of the guys from Exodus.
Ed Dana's asking when his first gig with it.
I bet you the next time Robert Baker goes live, he's going to be playing that guitar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was demoing it today, so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes live tonight.
Metal Stage Joe has fond memories of hair. Yeah, I'll be there soon enough too.
Yeah, I used to actually shave my head.
On.
I forget who I was telling Mayhem that he couldn't believe it. I used to actually shave my head once a week with clippers without a guard, right down to a 5 o'clock shadow once a week. I know it's hard to believe.
I did that for the longest time, but that's because of having a touch of psoriasis. So it just is a lot easier to have your hair short so that your scalp can breathe.
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby Clipper.
It's funny you mentioned Clipper. Clipper.
Yes.
And
here
then
we are
Bobby
talking.
Clipper shows
Bobby
up.
Clipper jumps in.
I do the same thing, Ed. Ed avoids camera views at the top of his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I get it. Yeah. Guitar Hack, if there is more hair on your back.
No comment, Will.
I've fortunately never.
Wait, if I had more hair on my back than I have on my head, I would have a lot of hair on my back.
Jesus. Yeah.
No, that's when you'd be looking for your hair transplant person.
That's right. Long hair and cycling doesn't work, old man Dan.
Oh.
Mine's longer only because Robert Baker actually got a haircut not too long ago, Mayhem. I noticed that. I've been looking at his live streams. And his is fuller because he's younger.
Actually, that'd be pretty bad. You'd probably have to have a man bun to ride your bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mitch Heyman, how are you?
Good to see you, Mitch.
Hello, Mr. Heyman.
It's a good thing the fine folks in the chat here keep making good comments because we aren't really discussing much.
Well, yeah, let's. Well, I mean, if no one's asking any questions at the moment, I don't know. I'm like I said earlier, I was off air. I'm getting an EP booster on Tuesday, so I'm just real curious. Like everyone I talk to tells me a different story about what it does, what it sounds like, what it's good for. So it's like for me, it's like a science experiment. Okay, what does this thing actually do? Where can I put it? Where should I put it? Is it something I'm going to keep? Is it something worth my while? Like I have no idea. You know,
you're going to put it at the end of your signal chain. You're going to turn it on, and you'll never turn it off.
Well, that's what you're right. And then I'll talk to someone else, and they'll say, "Oh, it's just a clean boost. It doesn't do anything else." And then okay, well, I got one of them already. So I know I'm just real curious to play around with it whenever it shows up.
Well, if you don't like it for some weird reason, you know who to contact.
Yeah,
it helps with scoring the chicks.
Brian Cote has a video coming tomorrow for you, Hack.
Okay, there you go, Brian Cote. Yeah, set me straight, man. Actually, I was telling Brian, yeah, you beat me to it because when I do get it, I was going to do a video on it too. I guess there'll be two versions of that video.
Matthew Stewart, have you heard of the Loop Master switching system for pedals? I have. I haven't tried it, but I have heard of them. You guys familiar with them?
No.
Not I.
Fair enough. Will asked, what am I looking forward to at NAMM? Honestly, I've been giving it a lot of thought over the last few weeks. Like at first I was like gung-ho, I'm going to contact all these companies and stuff. And I thought, on the other hand, due to the size of my channel, I'm only going to have limited companies that want to work with me in any capacity as far as demoing the products or something like that. So really, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to at NAMM is just meeting people that I've met through YouTube. That's honestly the biggest thing. Like I want to meet everybody that I've spent the last, years watching and stuff like that. For the most part, those that'll be there anyways. That's what I'm looking forward to. Hanging out with JJ and Ike from Flipside and going to the Friedman booth and talking to Dave Friedman, Mark Kazansky, Pete Thorne.
Dennis Burrow.
Would work on a fretboard? That's a good question, Dennis. I
don't see why it wouldn't.
No, it's a nice hard wood.
Yeah, it would be just like maple.
It's definitely hard, yeah.
Yeah, it'd work like a maple fretboard.
So Brian Stewart's saying he has the exotic SL drive and he loves it.
Nice.
Cool.
RJ says, I've been teasing Robert for a couple of years now. Have him the online tag Agent Wigman.
Yeah, Namthrax. There should be somebody should do a video talking about how to avoid getting Namthrax at the NAMM show.
Yeah, don't go. That's about the only way. Ivan Carter, good to see you.
Slather your body in hand wash solution.
Walk around with a surgical mask on.
Yeah, like you're in Japan or whatever.
Yeah, that blew me away when I was there. It's like Is somebody not telling me something? Because everybody's wearing masks and I'm not.
Yeah. Is there a zombie plague?
Hey, we
I
got
didn't get the
Star
memo.
Amy Wilson, I'm sorry, but we don't actually play guitar on these hangouts. We just talk about them. Unfortunately. Sometimes I'll play guitar on the channel if I go live by myself, but not in a group setting.
Well,
But thanks for tuning in.
Sounds like you're playing underwater when you're doing it live. And people are trying to figure out how to remedy that right now. So.
Well, did you see me live last week, Hack, when I was playing?
Yeah. I saw.
Did it sound like it was underwater?
But you're doing it on your phone, right? Was that on your phone?
No, I was doing it through Hangouts.
And it didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if you were sounding underwater. The thing is, it doesn't kick in immediately. It's after you're playing for about, I don't know, a few seconds, and then it just it starts off sounding good, and then it goes out.
Yep. Yeah, I got around it. I'll tell you off
there. Ben, I don't recall if you had the underwater thing.
Yeah, all I did was cranked up my amp and I changed the setting in Hangouts, and I was able to do it.
The Hangout setting.
Brad,
did you put it on studio instead of voice?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, give away those secrets, Hack. Give them away.
Well, Mayhem just mentioned it as well. So.
Well, since people are finding it boring, I guess I will give everybody a little preview of what's almost done.
Yes, why don't you do that? So this, for those who don't know, this is the neck that Terry got. Hang on, Terry. Let me present you since you're not saying anything while you're showing it off. There you go. Ed, if you go into settings along the top of Hangouts, the icon looks like a gear. It's the fourth drop-down menu. I have set to voice, and you can choose in the drop-down to switch it to studio.
Is Terry muted?
I think Terry's mic just went out.
Terry, we can't hear you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to do you one better on that one, Adam. See ya, Amy. If you have nothing nice to say, we don't need you in the chat. Oh. Well, I'm not presenting Terry anymore because he dropped out to get his microphone working again, so he will be back. Paul Liu says he ordered a Focusrite to improve the sound quality of his videos. We'll see if I can figure out the tech side of this guitar video stuff. If you do, let me know. Yeah,
I'm sort of going to be doing that as well with the interface. I haven't really had time to play around with it, but that's something that I'm going to be working on too.
No worries, Adam.
Right, great.
That was enough, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Will.
You know what?
Like anyone that's watched this channel at all knows that everybody on the panel can play guitar. So I'm not saying any of us are any good. We're all a bunch of hacks.
We're all hacks.
So now that my mic is back, I don't know why my mic's doing this. But anyways, again, I've got pretty much...
Yeah, what did you do to it?
So basically, I gave it a little bit of a sanding back. Got some of the sealer off of it. I took some amaretto dye and ran it over it. And I have simply taken Minwax tongue oil and gone over it to date. And I am only just a few, probably a coating a little bit away from being done.
You can see it on, around the frets. Looks good, man.
Yeah, it looks good there.
Yeah. Gave it a nice aged look.
And that's a mighty
in the chat. Hey, sis. And Will, you're right. We also build guitars.
Yeah. This is the Mighty Mite licensed by Fender. And it is the large 70s headstock maple with maple cap.
Nice. Yeah, you did, sis. Cool, Brian Stewart. I'll check that out. He said he
Absolute mayhem. It depends on if you actually put your sealing finish over the actual frets. If you try to avoid it, you don't have to, unless the actual frets themselves aren't polished. In the case of this neck, I was very shocked that it came with the frets polished and the front ends were nicely clipped. Like there was no rough edges whatsoever up and down the neck.
Well, you'd expect that from those kind of companies, wouldn't you? I mean, they don't send them out unfinished, do they?
Sometimes they do. There has been people that I got that neck from musician's friend, and there have been people that actually have said that that they got it, that it wasn't the frets needed to be leveled and the ends weren't clipped properly.
Wow.
I mean, it's a made in Indonesian neck, so
that could be whatever. If it was US made, it might be a different story, I would have thought.
yeah. I mean, if you're talking about like Warmoth, but I mean, when you're talking a Warmoth neck, you're talking, if you're buying one of their readily available necks that they already have pre-built, they're about 250 US. That I paid 208 Canadian. And that neck goes for, on average, about 140 US.
Okay.
Now, in regards to some of the other necks that I have bought over eBay that have been like $30 or $40 Canadian or whatever from China, I can honestly say, yes, there is a hell of a lot of difference between that neck and the ones that you buy off eBay. You definitely can tell that you're getting a more professionally and properly cut thing, because I went and I actually tried that before I actually started taking the sealer off and putting the finish on it and that, and I actually put it right exactly into my Made in Mexico body that it's going on to. Fits the pocket perfectly.
Wow. Maybe a shim, maybe no shim. You're going to see when you set it all up, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a question. It's from Scott Nickerson. He's asking, recommend the first Pink Floyd song to learn for experienced beginner.
Money. Dung, 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 bong, dung, 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 dung. It's a very simple note pattern.
But that all bass?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's a
nope. Nope. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that correctly. You are right. The guitar and bass line do kind of interject with each other.
I was going to say another brick in the wall, or
Wish You Were Here is a classic. I mean, is that too basic? I mean, that's still yeah. With playing it correctly with all the little licks and everything, that ain't no easy song, man.
I'd go with one of those two, because they're heavy guitar songs too. Guitar drives them. Yeah, Ed Dana says Wish You Were Here as well. Yeah, that would be a good one to start with.
Well, the reason why I say Money is because, again, like I said, yeah, it's bass, but also at the same time, it's simple blues.
Right.
Paul Millard says Another Brick in the Wall. Yeah, those are the two.
Get the wall book and work your way through it, man.
Yeah, the wall.
Yeah. Huh? Are you a hack? No, you're not a hack.
Is Ben with us in spirit? What's he doing here? Can we hear you, Ben?
I can hear you.
The ghost of
Ben
the past.
Let me just reload the chat here. I don't know what happened. Yeah, my internet totally went down.
Yeah, Scott. Most people were suggesting "Wish You Were Here," so it'd be a good one for you to start, I think.
Did I miss anything funny and cool? I see Rick Effner's here.
No, we're just talking about Terry's neck on his guitar.
Oh, okay. For his guitar and personally.
His guitar.
Thanks, Chad. Yeah, it's actually nice and cleanly shaven now.
Good job there, buddy.
Thanks.
Yeah, how do you make that cash
Nice.
register sound with the guitar?
Hey, make what?
They're all asking, how do you make that cash register sound with the guitar?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, right. Hey, so Hack, you get the weekend off, buddy?
Pardon me?
No show this weekend. You had the weekend off?
No. Yeah, no shows. But we did a New Year's gig, and actually this week we got 2 more gigs. The place we played New Year's, we got one booked and another one coming. So we're playing there again, which is great. So that I think that with the other one, I think we're up to like 15 already for this year coming. So it's going to be a really busy year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
We're only a few days into the new year and you're that booked.
Yeah. Well, and it's all summer. Like we don't want to go out in well, I think the first one is like March, because I don't want to be carting my crap through the snow. It's just don't
get any outdoor like festivals and stuff you play?
Yeah, we do. Do you guys have Ribfest down there?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, well, Ribfest is like they do them up here. They'll basically have a bunch of companies that just make ribs, and it's like a competition, and then it just turns into like a big party. They'll have it at some big park somewhere.
Yeah, like a massive chili cook-off or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. People come in and they buy tickets and they can try a different bunch of ribs, and they usually have live bands going the whole day. So we usually do 1 or 2 of those a year as well. So yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, we've had one of those here in my town now for 2 years.
What about you, JJ? You doing any gigging?
No, the plan is to get it moving. It's it's just linking everyone together and getting it going. Joe's here, my buddy, all the time. He gigged. He played last night, but he does a solo act. There's a venue down there. We could play anytime we want, but it's got a really major volume control, and because it's outdoors.
All right.
Corner area, and the minute it's cranked, it kind of gets shut down. So yeah, did actually play New Year's Eve at a party, so that was really good fun.
Oh, there you go.
Just as a 3-piece, and that was wicked. Yeah, went on a few times, and then we got shut down by the cops doing a Primus cover.
Yeah, that's funny.
But then it was like 1:30 in the morning. We're like, wow, we didn't even realize it was that late, and it was in someone's backyard as well, just echoing through the township there. Primus.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Brown Beaver. It was classic.
Thanks, Paul. Somebody was asking about, and I missed it. So suggest like one electric guitar and one acoustic. I think it was 4 walls, but I'm trying to find the comment again. Anyways, what would you guys recommend for like one electric guitar, one acoustic guitar?
My dad's. I'll take his old Telly and his Martin D28.
Well, we're talking affordable guitars. You're going to walk in and you want to pick a nice electric and a nice.
Yeah, like if you were to pick one of each, I think
$200 to $500 range. It varies.
There's no mention of money, so
yeah. So I mean, Epiphone you can't go wrong with in that price bracket, and if you're in that bracket, then I'd probably stick with an Epiphone acoustic as well because I think they're awesome.
Yeah. Oh, Rick Romanelli's here. Hey, Rick.
Yeah, if you got a good enough store, good guitar center where they've got multiple Epiphones, and you pick them all up, one's going to fit your hands, and you're going to fall in love with it, whether it's electric or acoustic. That'd be the way to go. Any other thoughts? Anyone else on?
What do you think, Terry?
His microphone's shot again.
Your mic is gone again. Can't hear you, Terry.
Yeah.
All right, it looks like we may have somebody joining us here. So
okay.
Who we got?
Well, if I can get into my email. Unfortunately, I'm not on my computer, so.
You know, if you want to get a guitar that's like really good for price money, you know, the used market, you know, I'm a big avid fan of the used market, and
oh yeah, man,
the risks of eBay, you know. Fortunately, where I live, Craigslist is rife because there's so many people and so much music. But eBay, I've bought a bunch of guitars. I've bid on guitars and won and lost, but I've scored some, man, for under $300. Just Ibanez RGs mainly, if you're into that style of playing.
Right.
You know, can't go wrong. It's a custom world-class guitar for $300 range.
Yeah, Brian from Oregon mentioned Seagull. Seagull guitars are great, man.
Yeah, and they don't poop on you.
Yeah, they don't poop on it. Yeah, they're good guitars for good acoustic guitars.
Now, one thing with playing a guitar at kind of those prices, why I love Epiphone though is like my Epiphone, my acoustics from like 97, and it wears well. I think when you're in a budget range of guitars, it's how it's going to be in 10 years and 15 years. That's something always, because if you fall in love with a guitar and it's starting to fall apart down the road.
Yeah.
So,
see, here's the inherent thing with that question. It's kind of hard to answer because you have to understand what the person wants to be playing.
It was just a fun question for us, Terry. It wasn't meant to be.
Oh, yeah.
Go easy, brother.
Well, you got to have everyone should own a Telly, everyone should own a Strat, and everyone should own a Les Paul of some version.
Yeah, and that's just it, right? Is because
branch off from there.
Yeah, like you can't necessarily say like, okay, well, you want to buy get a Les Paul. Well, the Les Paul can't play every style of music. If you're wanting to try to play every style of music, then something maybe like a Stratocaster that is a single humbucker might be a good option in that regard for versatility.
I'll tell you one that's tripping me out right now is Steve from Boston's $150 Harley Benton Les Paul style with P90s.
Yeah.
I mean, I really need to hold that guitar and know what $150 really does get you. I mean, that's crazy money.
Yeah. It's surprising how much you can get for that much money these days.
Yeah, GT 450, basswood body, maple cap, maple neck, I believe.
Yeah, well, he was kept saying that you know, you can get that much now is because of the better manufacturing methods they have now. But I mean, I don't know, the material still like that's still. I don't know. I don't know how they do it that cheap.
Well, someone ain't getting paid very much to build it.
That's
who's working wherever it's being built in the underground trench or whatever. I've got no idea.
Speaking of which, there's someone that can answer the question very well.
Good day, sir.
Metal signs to you, TK.
There he is.
Hey guys.
On, brother.
Answer the question very well. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. There's a little bit of an echo all of a sudden, though.
There he is.
Likewise. I apologize for being late. Had some.
Everybody hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Hang on, let me pause the video. Hang on.
Yeah.
I had some family stuff going on, as everyone could imagine.
You sound better.
I feel better. Thank you. Thank you for asking and for remembering how sick I was on my end of the year thing. How's everyone doing?
Doing great.
Hey, Louis, how are you?
Well, thank you.
Awesome.
Monthly roundtable. And
yeah, no, I appreciate the invite. It was very kind of you to extend it, so thank you.
Well, thank you for joining. You had a great live stream last night. Like you said, you sounded a lot better than you did a week ago, and I thought, hey, why not? See if you want to jump in.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Amanda. Hello. Hello, everybody. I didn't mean to certainly kind of interject whatever you guys were talking about. By all means, carry on. And I'll,
we were mid Harley Benton discussion.
Yeah, we're in a Harley Benton's. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Talking about buying, what would you? Someone asked the question, what would you buy? I mean, you're the great one to answer this, TK. What would you buy? We didn't get prices, so we kept it in a budget. If you were going to get an acoustic and an electric, what would you purchase? That was the question.
You mean only guitar? Like if somebody was to only buy
Yes.
One electric, one acoustic. Yeah.
That was our guidelines.
That's tough. The electrics are easy. The acoustic, I'm not an acoustic guy, so it's interesting. I bought a bass amp a bass guitar and a bass amp many years ago, and I bought them based on how it felt. So I literally, which was actually the way you should shop, right? You should shop based on how does it feel, and not knowing much about basses or bass amps, I went purely by how did it feel. I wound up with a Spectre. It was a Korean made, but a Spectre, which I still own, and an Ampeg B100R, which I still own because it just felt great. And I wasn't biased because I don't know what's great in the bass world, right?
Sure.
So with that said, being biased, the electrics are easy. You get a Strat, you get a Les Paul, and those are the two electrics probably. I think a lot of people will argue a Telly, but I'm not a Telly guy. Everyone knows that.
That's
so
me.
yeah,
You just got me, Lewis. You just got me all excited. Is that a Kiss T-shirt?
it is. It's brand new. You like it?
All right, you're in.
I paid $4 for this T-shirt, by the way.
Don't tell Gene Simmons.
Nice.
$4. Yeah, Gene
Don't tell
Simmons
Gene
did not make
Simmons.
any money on this one. But I like it. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it's
$4.
cool, man.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I think your Telly moment will come one day. It seems to come to everyone at some point.
well, you know what it is for me? It's I'm very, I care what people like say in the videos, and I take a lot of that feedback and try to make it better, right? And every time I play a Telly, man, I get pounded. And I think I understand the reason. It's what they want to hear out of a Telly and what I'm playing are two different things.
Yeah.
So I'm just not an on-camera Telly guy. Maybe if I got like a Jim Root Telly, which some will argue isn't a Telly,
Yeah.
I may do better.
Or
But,
something like this. There you go. 2 humbuckers. They put out 15K output.
Yeah. See, a lot of people, that would be a guitar I'd play, but a lot of people argue that's not a Telly, right?
But it has coil tap, so.
Right.
Jared Dines just did his video this week where he wanted to do a comparison between a rock guitar, like a heavy metal guitar, and a Telly. What's best for metal? And he did a song on the Telly in full-on metal, full down chug and everything, and one with a metal guitar. And your ears to make the comparison and everyone's thoughts. And the Telly does stand up, even with that little lipstick pickup and the single coil.
Mm-hmm.
Get the metal tones. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm convinced after watching, hundreds of YouTube videos, I'm convinced anybody could get anything to sound great.
Yeah, I agree.
I saw a Fluff one time do, a Ryan Bruce. It was like a spoof video, but he pulled it off. He had a Line 6 Spider, whatever the 15, the small one, the 15 or whatever the small Line 6 was. And he made that thing sound amazing, and it goes to show you that, anybody could take anything and make it sound great. The question is, how does it feel under your fingers? And do you want to own it? That's kind of the question. But I think anybody can make it.
Feel thing, exactly. Back to the feel when picking guitars.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, like some people can't play something with that smaller radius neck, right?
yeah.
So we ended up with what does $150 get you on a Harley Benton like Steve showed with his last night with the P90? So we just find that mind blowing.
I'll be honest with you. For $150, I'd buy a Squire,
Right.
because I know I could sell it.
Oh yeah.
You'll if the product says Fender, you'll always get something back for it. That's a fact.
That's true.
You know. So for $150, I'd get a Squire and hope I get $75 for it later down the road when I want to upgrade.
That's the price. There it is. Awesome.
Yeah.
In fact, anyone that's starting, it's you can't, especially the quality on some of these Squires. And I'm not a big fan of Epiphone. I'm not a big fan of, like if you want to own a Fender, you could get a Squire that says Fender. You can't buy an Epiphone that says Gibson.
No.
Right.
and I feel like it suppresses somebody from wanting to play a brand that they want to play, right? So I think Fender has it right. You could buy a very inexpensive Squire and it still says Fender, and it still makes somebody feel good about having something awesome, you know. Epiphone, you know, to Gibson's credit, they're at the other end of the spectrum. They want the USA Gibson community to feel special that you bought a USA made thing. So you can't buy a non-USA made product that says Gibson. But that sucks for the kids that can't afford a, you know, $900+ instrument. That's the reality, you know.
And you're caught with that headstock as well. That's the
headstock is the problem.
Yeah, that's the, you know.
But you can always get the more or less expensive Gibsons too. I mean, there's tributes. There's the double cut P90 guitar that just came out, the new Junior, and that thing in Canadian money that's $800. So in US, that's probably about what, 6, maybe 6, 7.
Yeah, I'll tell you. You know, considering Gibson has taken a beating, just like in YouTube land and all that, I think they've actually done a good job of, you know, producing USA instruments at affordable prices that don't suck. I think a lot of people that pound on them maybe haven't picked them up, because I'll be honest with you, I haven't really picked up a Gibson that I thought was garbage, minus, I forget what model it was. Maybe it was like the Zero model.
Or the Zero.
Yeah. There was one model one year they came out, it was like $500, and that thing, that I did not like that. It's like they went too low, right? To get the cost down.
They got those $100 Gibsons now.
What's that?
God. They're all, you know what I'm talking about. They're the really cheap Gibsons. They're like plastic, pretty much.
Oh, like was it the SLs?
I don't even know what they're called. Is it the SL? And they come in like, you know, like blue and yellow and all these.
Oh, the Epi SL with the 2 single coils.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
are those Epiphones or are those Gibsons?
No, they're Epis.
I think they're Epiphone.
Are the
Epis?
But those things feel really cheap. But
and
don't sound that bad. If they stayed in tune, they might actually be okay.
Well, they got glued on frets as well.
Get out of here.
Yeah, those the little cheap Epiphones, the $100 ones, they have glued on frets.
Glued on, so they're not
in there.
Really?
Yeah, look down there. Yeah, they're glued in.
Well,
it's a shame because they actually, some of them sound killer with the P90s in them. I've jammed on them in Guitar Center, but they're glued in frets, or glued on frets, glued on top of the. That's how it's so cheap. Nuts.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't know there was such a thing as glued on frets. I never heard of that.
Yeah, I never seen
that. Down, jamming out one day, and you'd be like, "Oh,
right." But
that sounds different.
I'll tell you what, though. I you know, a musician's friend right now is having a sale on the classics.
Those are great.
Yeah. $16.99. I know it's a lot of money for a lot of people, but considering that's like a $2,200 guitar, you know.
2018, Lewis, the P90 ones.
2018. Yeah.
I own one of those guitars. They're fantastic.
Do you like it? Does the hum bother you in the P90?
Yeah.
Stops him playing live with that guitar.
You know, the problem is, you know, like I gig with it, and you know, and a lot of what I do, even a little bit of gain, and you got to be really quick with the volume. You know, anytime there's some dead space, it'll start to feed back on you. So it's really frustrating in the quiet moments type of thing. But when you get that thing revved up and going, the tones that come out of that thing are absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So you got to take the good with the bad, or the
bad.
You can
put some Lollas in there as well. I mean, you know, a little bit of money there, but the Lolla noiseless P90s.
Well, I haven't tried what you were telling me the other day, JJ. I got to try that yet. Putting it in the middle position and working with the volumes.
Yeah,
experiment with that.
I'm surprised I didn't see you on the New Year's gig with it. I thought for sure he's going to try it out, and I'm going to see that P90 guitar.
No, I did the. I don't know. I was in an SG mood. I used the SG for that gig.
Fair enough.
The SG sounded fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's great show, by the way.
Thanks so much.
So it's interesting because the classic series do not have the hum canceled middle. So whether it be neck, bridge, or middle, you have hum. But what's interesting is if you buy aftermarket Gibson P90 neck and bridge, the bridge is reverse wound, reverse polarity. So when you do put it in the middle, it cancels the hum, which is interesting. I almost have to wonder why they wouldn't put the reverse round, reverse polarity in the guitar so you have that middle position. I don't understand that one.
Maybe to cut.
One cancels out in the middle position. It's just the tribute with the P90s. Silent as a mouse in the middle position.
Really?
Yeah.
So maybe they're keeping the classic, you know,
with a great tone. I mean, I know a lot of people are scared of the middle position.
In the middle position, it doesn't hum.
Yeah, and it
does yours hum in the middle right now?
You know, I mean, I don't think it does. I actually have to think about it because I never use the middle position. That's always neck.
That's probably why.
But I got to try that now. But I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah, I did the trick that or I tried doing the trick that JJ was talking about with the P90s because I was getting some feedback even at bedroom volume with a fair amount of gain, and I found all I did was I just dialed back the volume just a hair.
Yeah,
totally took care of it.
Well, you know what? Funny enough, Pete Thorne. I asked Pete Thorne on his show a while back, and that's what he told me to do. And it does work. It doesn't work perfectly, but it works a little bit better. A little bit, I should say. If you take the volume down to like 8, right? I know, so you can use the full bridge, but take the volume just down a couple of notches, and that does help it a bit. I will admit that does work, but it's not a perfect solution. But it's
and the tone, very responsive P90s are, and you just
man, but you know what?
The volume off. Because they have so much bite anyway.
They sound so good. I mean,
better than a humbucker. I mean,
I think, yes.
Huh.
I'll say they sound better than a humbucker.
Well, TK, did you see Robert Baker's face when he plugged in his new?
No, I didn't. Which video is this?
He just got that new one. That new
got a 90 Les Paul today.
Really?
He just did an unboxing today.
Ah, which model is it?
He got it from his birth date, which was 1989. He got the 1989 gold top.
It's a standard, but it has P90s.
Yeah,
wow.
Standard gold top.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah.
You know what it is, Lewis? What I find with the P90s, because I generally play mainly humbucker guitars, it's just you have a little bit more note definition, and it's more higher mids. So you get a little more crunch, a little more growl, and a little more definition. That's what I find. And when you're playing, like if you're playing hard rock, it sounds incredible.
What? Any thoughts on the Seymour Duncan Fat Cat P90 drop-in set?
They're great.
Well,
they're great.
They are, but some people. That's the one with the switching where it turns into a P90, or
no, that's a different pickup. That's that has a blade, a P90, or a humbucker.
So this is the one which is their version of a P90.
Yeah, you could drop it in a humbucker spot, but it's a P90, and
I've heard incredible things about them.
Really?
I actually got, I think it's GSW is the kind of bargain brand pickup company. GSW. I got their P90 humbucker sized to drop into a Strat style Warmoth, and incredible pickups. And they were $60 for a pair.
Can't beat that.
We got a few new people that popped in.
I see that.
Hutch from BA. We got Shane from In the Blues is here. How are you, my friend?
Rock on, Shane. But you have a P90 guitar, don't you, TK?
I do.
Yeah, so you know the sound of a P90.
You know what do you think of them?
Yeah, but the P90s I have are like a semi-hollow, so it's not like a solid body.
Yeah.
You know, so the whole thing just sounds not like you would hear coming out of like a solid body, right?
Right.
Even an SG with P90s, you know, that would be awesome as well.
Seems like P90s are the latest thing.
Yeah.
So are you thinking about picking one up, Lewis? One of the Les Pauls, the classics?
I'm thinking about it.
Are we pushing you over the edge?
For corrupting the Tone King live on my channel.
That's all we do is corrupt each other here with gear.
All my guitars with all my great pickups and, you know, all the humbuckers, I tell you, my P90 is probably one of my favorite tones.
I know it.
The clean tone, I mean, how's that clean?
The clean is amazing.
So rich and warm.
I was in a guitar center recently, and it's funny. Jason Wade just said Pelham Blue. I saw that a brand new Pelham Blue Classic with P90s. It was too. It was marked down to $1,400, $13.99. Yeah, 14. So all said and done, it would have been about $1,500. I actually walked away from it because it was noisy. They had a used JCM 800. I picked that amp purposely because I knew exactly what to expect, sound wise.
Yeah.
And it was just so noisy. I'm like, I don't see how I'm going to play this thing, And I tried the middle position. The middle position was very noisy. That's why I was wondering, that Classic didn't have that like reverse wound in the bridge. And I'm like, I don't know.
Thinking about that now.
Yep. But I'm definitely considering something. So I do have, I'm going to say too much here. But I do have something coming my way that has P90s. It's a semi-hollow. It's in Pelham Blue, but it's not made by Gibson. So it's a loaner guitar, but I'm really excited to get it because,
I think I know what that is.
Take a guess. If you guess it, I'll tell you what it is. What do you think? What is it?
PRS?
No. Does PRS even make a guitar with P90s? I guess they do, right?
Yeah,
They used to.
They do a McCarty with P90s, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So this is it's a frameless television.
Oh.
Excuse me.
So God bless you. So my buddy Brian over there, I was talking to him the other day, and he had a Pelham Blue semi-hollow with P90s. I'm like, dude, I got to try that out. So he's going to send it over so I could give that a whirl.
That is risky. What do you do when you fall in love with that guitar, man?
You buy it. That's what usually winds up.
There's no option.
Yeah. That's what happened with the Idolmaker. It was a loaner. I wound up buying it because I liked it, it was one of those, it's not going back. So what is this going to cost me? It's one of those. But yeah, P90s is, but again, even the frame it's a semi-hollow. So I've yet to really, I want to find one in a solid body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think you get even more of a howl if you put a P90 in a hollow. Because now
you think
so? Oh, yeah, I think you get a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
You're susceptible to feedback.
Oh, yes. When you said howl, I thought you meant like more goodness, but you're saying
no. Hollow,
right.
hollow.
Less goodness, right?
Less goodness, more,
A lot. I mentioned them before. A lot of pickups. There's other brands. I mean, you see used guitars, and the big announcements is with Lola pickups. They're incredible pickups. You get yourself noiseless P90s in your favorite P90 guitar. There's no questions asked. You've got all pickup options to use at that point with no hum.
You know what my problem is, though? If you're going to drop $1,000+ on a Gibson, you don't want to rip the pickups.
You don't want to
out.
mess it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, mine doesn't hum in the middle position. And if you're using some kind of like distortion, once you're playing anyway, bit of control on a volume pedal, or, volume controls, volume off, neck pickup, on. You switch in between and you've got complete silence. It's all about it. Look forward to that guitar, TK.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. So.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So we have a question for the panel here. Scott Nickerson asks, what is the quintessential Marshall head to have in your collection? For me personally, it would probably be Plexi style Lead 100, fairly low gain, but with a master volume. So that's for me personally, because I like low gain amps. How about you, Guitar Hack?
Well, see, I have the newer iteration of that, which is the Origin series head.
Right.
And that's basically what it's modeled after. It's a low gain amp, and instead of you jumping the rhythm in the lead, I've got a tilt knob that switches from one to the other. So from one side to the other. So I basically have that sound right here, and I love that amp. So I guess I'd go with that.
Okay. What about you, Lewis? You had one of them in your collection at one time or another, I'd say.
Yeah, I think the Marshall amp that everybody wants or thinks they want to own is a Plexi, right? Because that's kind of the foundation from a lot of, even all these modded amps, the 800, the 900s, they were all like modded Plexi styles, right?
Right.
For me, being that I like a certain genre of music, it's probably a JCM 800 variant of some sort. Even the 900 has extra gain stages, and it gets a little too gnarly. You know what I mean? The 800 is almost perfect. But for me, I'd say somewhere between an 800 and, like you said, that 1959 Super Lead with a master volume. You know, but if you don't, like you said, if you don't have the master volume, you just got a loud amp that you know, it's tough to do much with. You know,
True.
I haven't tried the Origin, but I heard they're phenomenal amps. You know?
Yeah, it's a lot of people don't like the combo versions, but I've tried the combos. I wouldn't the 20. I think the 50 sounds better than the 20. If you're gonna try the combos, but as far as the heads too, I think the 50-watt head sounds better than the 20-watt head. Just the bigger power just sounds, I don't know, just sounds fuller, richer. But yeah, you should give one a spin. I think you'd like it.
You know, it's pretty cheap. It sounds pretty good. The Vintage Modern. You could pick a Vintage Modern up for like $500.
Yeah.
And that amp is, I think that amp sounds really good.
How about you, JJ?
I'm going to always throw options at you. I think if you're saying Marshall, then you obviously got a sound in your head, and that's always a Marshall Les Paul, and that's what you're hearing.
That's
if you
right,
think
yeah.
Marshall, I don't know whether other direction you're going. So I'd go Marshall. I'd go like the vertical input JCM 800 using your volume knob to get your clean tones.
Okay.
And back it down. That's godly. One amp, which if you really want to be in Marshall heaven, is the 1974X little combo. That's 18 watts, and that will give you pure Marshall Plexi glory at full volume, but at a controlled volume, and you can crank that amp. That's incredible. And then my what I used when I used to tour was the Marshall JMP rack unit with a Marshall power amp. And then you've got every Marshall amp you want in that thing, and I think they sound incredible.
Those were I'm surprised companies didn't keep up with that stuff. You're right. That was like
Secret Sauce back in the day, and they had a speaker emulator out as well back in the early 90s. It was nuts.
Yeah. That's one piece of gear I always wanted to own and never had an opportunity to own. And at this point, it's just, I don't want to buy someone's problem. You know, they're too old. And
yeah, they're old now. Yeah, I've had mine since day one. But the great thing about them is you've got all those vintage tones. You've got modern tones, a lot of EQ parameters to mess with, and you've got great clean tones in there as well.
In fact, people were taking out their ADA MP1s and putting that in. That actually replaced a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The Marshall preamp.
Full MIDI control. That
was the one to have.
Yeah.
And then grunge hit.
Well, I was part of that, and that's what I used for it. But I got great tones, man, for sure. Stereo.
Orwell's Music, who's new to the community, at least our little sub-community, I'll say. He says, I tell you what, this is a great circle of people. And it is, I will say. You know,
rock on.
We got a lot of carryover from channel to channel, but it's a great community in this whole area of the world, I'll say. And the world being the guitar community within the YouTube community.
Yeah, Marshall, it's great to hear people talk about Marshall. They really are still the kings, aren't they? I mean,
yeah,
the kings.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you said it earlier, Marshall and a Les Paul.
Yeah.
That's it.
Iconic.
Yeah.
I love that guitar, Guitar Con, when they had to all go in the room and play the Plexi on full volume.
Yeah.
Phil X certainly knew how to, that was for sure.
I like relating the story. We rented a buddy's studio space to do some rehearsals prior to doing a series of gigs, Richie and I, and we walk in and he sees a full Marshall stack there. And he's like, I'm calling that. And I look over, and it's a 71 Plexi with matching cabs. And he's like, he plugs in and he hits an E chord and he's like, oh, this is awesome. He says, what are you playing through? And I turn around and I said, apparently this 59 bassman going through a couple Marshall 412s as well. And we never sounded so good. We're just like, okay, we get it. You know,
I'm curious to know which one sounded better.
What was that? Sorry.
Which one sounded better?
I'd say the Marshall because I think it had better power tubes in it.
Hmm.
I was getting a little sag after about 20 minutes.
Gotcha.
So it was quicker breaks during rehearsals, but I wasn't about to give up the chance to play through an iconic system. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Man, those plexis, those original 100 watters and that, when you actually, when you have it just humming there, when you turn that volume knob, it's scary.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's going to do because it gets so big.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Bugera makes the 1960 model,
Right.
which is like a Plexi clone. You could get those for cheap money. $200. I've seen them go for like $200 on eBay. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a question for you as well, TK. I don't know if you have one of this. The big talk as well. Recently, last few months, a lot of people talking about the PV Windsor, which is a JCM 800 clone.
Yeah.
Do you have one of those?
I have the combo. I had the head. I sold the head. I kept the combo because, you know, the thing about the combo, I don't know why you could do this. I never really looked into why this was a feature, but you could swap power tubes out without like having to rebias. So if you want to, PV even had like a tube kit for it. So you want to throw a KT88, a KT66, an EL34, 6L6, whatever you want. Apparently that could handle that, where the head was really just an EL34, you know, Marshall, you know, British clone amp, right?
Right.
But the Studio has an attenuator built in, and it also had the ability to just swap power tubes, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And you could, those are, again, you could get those for cheap, you know.
Yeah, I just saw a stack on Craigslist here because they were all talking about it on a channel a couple of days ago. So I went on Craigslist here. There was 2 stacks available. Well, 4x12 with the 100-watt head, both for $300 a piece with the cab. PV Windsor stacks. That's crazy.
That's because nobody wants a 4x12 today.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nobody wants a 4x12.
2x12s though, yes.
2x12s, yeah. That's what I got.
Exciting times for 2x12s.
I bought a Carvin X100B half stack for $220.
Wow.
I forget who it was. A viewer of mine reached out. I guess they were looking on Craigslist and they're like, dude, this is your neck of the woods. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I wound up picking the thing up, $200 for a half stack. A USA made all tube.
That was their Boogie clone, wasn't it? That was their Boogie clone.
Yeah.
Identical. I mean, it's incredible amp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has anyone tried the Black Star Artisan series? I haven't myself.
No. That's their high-end series, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I haven't.
I believe so.
I think that's their like hand-wired high-end. You know, I haven't. I remember them being really expensive though.
Interesting.
The Artisan is their boutique.
Yeah. I remember it being like $2,000 or something crazy. You know.
So what speakers have you settled with in the 2x12, TK?
Yeah. So I have 2 of those VHT 2x12s, and I put in the Alnico Gold and the Alnico Cream, and then I chose to put a Vintage 30 and a Creamback. And the reason why I chose that is they're all 100 decibels, so I could actually run both cabinets without it being mismatched.
Right. Perfect.
And I just thought it matched really well. But I'm going to look to somehow pick up a Fender-esque 2x12 to load those Jensens in, and I could use that with my Hot Rod Deluxe, which could be a lot of fun.
Nice.
You know. But I
remember when you were doing the vote on that, you could tell all of us that like the low gain stuff were going, Jensen.
Yeah, a lot of people. I think Jensen won. But after I thought about it, I didn't want to have mismatched cabinets. So I figured, you know what, I'll just work on getting like a nice 2x12 that looks like a Hot Rod Deluxe extension cabinet, which that'll go really nice with the Hot Rod Deluxe having those Jensens. So I'll just get a different 2x12 and I'll load those up and do a video of it.
We were in the Jensen booth last year at NAMM. Did you go in that little booth?
I did.
They had their kind of versions for high gain, because everyone thinks of Jensen as Fender and older school, but they actually have very modern speakers, and they had
torpedoes, I think, right? Jets and torpedoes, and
they had some tones coming out of those speakers. We were quite blown away. We were in there for a while.
Yep. They definitely have vast array of different speakers.
Yeah, speakers is a great world, man. I mean, everyone, you know, we're amps and you know, pedals, but speakers really is. That's the final decision right there.
Yeah.
And it's a huge difference.
And it's a commitment. You really got to get it right because, you know, you can't return speakers, right? And so you really kind of got to get it right. But there's a lot of videos on YouTube where people will, you know, maybe, you know, go through like, here's 20 eminent speakers. Here's, you know, 20 different speakers.
Right. A
Yeah,
question
you
for
get a good idea of what you really want. You watch 3 or 4 of them, you're getting similarities in opinions. You really kind of know where you're going. They're all saying it's too much bottom end or the bottom end's perfect. You're pretty much, you know, because that's what you've always got to watch in the little 212s is how it's controlling the bottom end.
It's almost better to watch that video without looking at the screen so you could let your ears figure it out, you know.
Isn't that it? And that's key. That's such good advice right there. It really is. Hard to do, but
very hard to do. You want to look.
Especially when they tell you not to look.
I remember a video. It was the Pedal Show guys did a video, and they were doing comparisons of not so much speaker brands, but speaker sizes. So they were comparing like for example, you know, like a 412, a 212, and then like a 410, and then a 210. And it was amazing how when you were like going from a 10-inch to a 12-inch speaker, like the difference in sound, like so much went away when they went to the 10-inch speaker. Like it seemed to lose basically a lot of its bottom end, a lot of its depth, a lot of its throw when you went down to a 10-inch speaker. You know, and when you play them back to back with the same equipment and everything, it becomes really, really apparent.
Oh yeah, there's cabs out there with 2 212s and 1 15. You know, Dime used to run one of them at one point. He had a 1x15 and a 212 in his cabs.
Oh wow.
You know, there's no rules, but some people get stuck in.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's a 412. No, it's a 212 with a 115 as well.
I had a. Do you remember the PV Classic 50 when they came out in the early 90s? I had the combo, which had 4 10-inch speakers in it. This thing weighed about 70 pounds. Nice to carry this thing around. But yeah, it was 4 10-inch speakers. Like if you get 10-inch speakers, you got 4 10s. It's not so bad. You get some bottom with that, but with the 2 10s, I don't think it cuts it.
Yeah, there's vintage guys into older classic tones and tweed tones, though. They won't step away from 10-inch speakers. It's all about 10-inch speakers.
Hey, Richie only switched from 10s to 12s in the last 6 months or so, I think.
There you go. Some people are diehard 10-inch speakers, man, especially with
really? I didn't know that was a thing.
Just off the verge of breakup, from clean to breakup, people who sit in between there, they love it.
A Marshall 410 cab. I can't remember what the model of that one, a 1965 cab, I want to say.
I had one of them back in the day. Yeah, it was the smaller version. Yeah,
when they had the MOSFET series. Remember the MOSFET?
Yeah, I have one sitting back here.
Yeah, that's right. They had a 410 stack that went with one of the MOSFET series amps.
Yep.
They were slightly smaller sized cabs, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are nice. So, question for you, Lewis. Since JJ and I are hanging out at NAMM together, what are a few places you recommend that we should hit while we're there?
Yeah, it's a great question. I like going to, you know, it depends what you like, right? So I understand I understand Kramer. You know, Gibson will have a big Kramer presence. That would be probably exciting to check out.
Definitely.
ESP is always exciting to go to because they bring in all the Japanese, like, handmade stuff. You've never seen anything in the world like it. You got to see what they bring in from ESP Japan. It's sick.
Nice.
So definitely Gibson. More for me to see the Kramer stuff, to see what they're coming back with. ESP, just because. Of course, you want to head up to Fender. Fender's going to have one of the biggest booths in the whole place.
Sure.
You know, that's just worth the walk through. Even though you're going to see a lot of Strats, Tellys, you know, everything's going to look the same.
They have some great custom ones in Fender, though. The obscure ones.
Yeah.
With all the crazy patterns on. And
And then what else is fun to see? Let me think about it. You know, they broke it up now, so like all the guitar stuff and amp stuff will be very concentrated, so you don't have to walk too far to check everything out. But let me think about what I would go to if I was there. You know, the Fender stuff is fun, Gibson stuff is fun, ESP is always fun. Even Schecter is kind of cool because they host the Wild Audio stuff. It's always kind of interesting to see what they have, you know, going on there. I would say, you know, those are probably the places I'd hit you know, right away.
Friedman booth.
You know, I've been to the Friedman booth several times. I'll be honest with you, and this isn't a dig at Friedman. I own a Friedman amp. I bought a Friedman amp. It's just, you know, they have the amp room, so if you're curious to see how they sound, you could go check them out. But there was nothing really exciting about it. They're amplifiers. Amplifiers aren't as exciting as exotic guitars. You know what I mean?
What I liked about it was because it's isolated, you've not got all that background noise, and you're just focusing on the tone of the room. Some of the players that walk through the room.
Yeah, you could always watch, you know, someone that knows what they're doing, you know, like have a go through their, you know, the Friedman room, which is fun. Amp stuff is a little hard, more difficult to be excited about because, again, it's amps. You know, you don't go wow when you see, you know, like when you walk, I'm telling you, when you walk upstairs to ESP, your jaw is going to hit the floor when you see, you know, what they could put 6 strings on. You know what I mean?
And you'll never see those guitars again. They're snapped up. They've got a sold sign on, and you'll never see them again. They're so rare. And talk about attention to detail.
Yeah.
It's unimaginable.
Amps are just a little less exciting. You know, I guess they're good to, you know, like if you want to hear what something sounds like, it's good to check it out. But, you know, the amp stuff is a little less exciting than checking out the guitar stuff. And if you go downstairs into Hall E, the basement, you'll see a lot of obscure stuff, a lot of knockoff stuff, obscure stuff. You'll feel like you're walking through a garage sale, which is just worth a stroll through. Do that on Sunday if you're there. You know what I mean?
Pedals forever. They're just pedals just forever.
See, pedals are hard. You know what a lot of people want you to do is put headphones on to hear their pedal boards. I don't know how you buy a pedal from a headphone.
Yeah.
You know, listening to a pedal through a headphone. You know, some guys like Wampler will actually have, you know, their pedal boards hooked up into an amp where you could actually hear what it sounds like through an amp, which is what you want to do. But you'll go to, like, there'll be concentrated areas where people will have like pedal boards and they want you to play it through a headphone. And I don't know how you get a feel for what a pedal sounds like through a headphone. It all sounds the same to me through a headphone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you ever go to a seminar there, TK, for anything?
No, they have a ton of them though. There's a ton of seminars, which I think are good if you have like a business, you're a retailer and you want to learn like what's trending and how do you know, I don't know. But I never really went as a retailer. You know, I kind of went under the media umbrella.
Right.
So my goal wasn't really necessarily to sit down and get an education. I just wanted to see stuff and record stuff. But there's a lot of seminars there. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff. You know, if you want to go there and learn something, you
can seriously learn production, mixing, engineering, even product. I sat through the Line 6 Helix one last year, and it was mind blowing.
Oh yeah, you definitely want to go to Line 6. Line 6, they will have they have like a sound stage. They're by the way, they're probably going to be in the hotel, and they're under Yamaha.
Okay, yeah, of course, absolutely.
With a schedule, and you want to see their performances are second to none.
Yeah, it was mind blowing.
It is, because they will get one guy like Paul Hindemarsh, who is tremendous.
Oh,
he's
great.
A wolf in sheep's clothing, man. He is just, you know, so nice and calm and cool, but that guy knows what he's doing on that Line 6 gear. You know, you think you're like, oh, you want to see a demo of the product? And then you're like, here, take my money when he's done, right? So he's really good. But you want to, if you have a chance to see Paul Hindemarsh play at Line 6 on that gear, man, you'll walk out thinking.
We'll be there. They're having a big thing, I think, on the Friday evening, and Yeah, he looked like the Facebook group of put out a big invite to that party, so we'll be going to that, Ben.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll be doing that before our own party on the Friday night.
he's
Oh,
tremendous.
right. Yes.
You want to see the Line 6? He'll do like a ensemble of like 20 songs, and he'll like patch in like all the different tones. And he's a great player. He knows how to use the gear, and he opens it up. It's great, you know.
And you were saying on your live stream, I believe last night, Lewis, that you doubt BC Rich is going to be exhibiting at all.
So that's what I heard. You know, I've been talking to a couple of friends of mine who are very close to the company, and they said that that they believe that they won't be there. So if they are, it's new news to me. But that's what I heard. So I don't know. I did hear it changed hands, and I got that from the former owner. He actually mentioned to me that the company has been sold. That when it's the timing is right, he'll introduce me to the new owner. So I could work with them like I always have in the past,
sure,
like demo stuff. But I don't even.
They were one of the companies I was going to look for because of the lack of a presence the last while.
Yeah.
Did you guys check out the new Ibanez stuff coming out for now?
I did.
Some of it's already out.
I did.
Variants in colors. I think the new RG550 range without pick guard, and they got another desert yellow one there, which looks really nice. They got some cool colors.
They're really going after the Sir lookalike stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I get a bit of an advance on the Ibanez stuff because Ibanez Canada does their little mini NAMM thing in Montreal. I believe it's like next week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Sir is like a great example of someone you want to go to because you'll never go to any store that will have the inventory that they'll have at the NAMM show.
So you'll never see it. You'll never see it.
You'll never see it. No. Like you could go to a good guitar store and they'll have 20 Gibsons. You go to Guitar Center, they have 20 Gibsons, right? You'll never go to a store and see 20 Sir guitars, right?
I can see one.
Yeah. So if you actually want to play a really good, guitar and, that you won't have an opportunity to do outside of NAMM, you want to go to places like Sir and check their stuff out, Yeah,
if you want to play Pete Thorne's signature while he's standing there, then that's where you go to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the same could be said for Friedman guitars too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I played one.
I love those guitars. I mean, I really do. And the Grover Jackson connection, but there ain't no gimmick there, man. They are really relicked well. I mean, it's not even relicking; it's like worn played. The next played. It's not hacking out guitars to make them look old. Make them feel played. That's the difference with the Friedmans that I notice.
Yeah.
So it's Grover Jackson that's building the Friedman guitars, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So why didn't he just do Grover Jackson guitars or G2J or whatever?
I think he was over it. I think Dave twisted his arm and said, "Come on, man." I think he actually said, "Can you build a couple for me?" And it just grew from there because he's just up the road from me here in Mission Viejo, his factory, which I keep meaning to stop by. But,
Where do you live? I'm sorry. Where
I'm in California, in Orange County, California.
Oh, Orange County. Okay, cool.
I met you twice at NAMM already. You've always given me a pick every time I met you.
There you go.
It was always a big shout out for chicken picks because we always met at the chicken pick stand.
Yeah. I got them all over the place. I love these things.
I'm still holding on to one. I keep losing these suckers. I'm going to have to fork out some money and get some from him because, again, I think you can still only get them online.
Right.
I think you can walk into a store.
Yeah.
But you'll miss this year, TK.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there this year. Unfortunately, I have a personal commitment that I can't get out of, so it's just not going to happen. But I'm going to go to Summer NAMM. I'm actually really excited because my wife was like, maybe I'll go to Nashville with you. I'm like, all right, that sounds good. Only took 10 years to get to a NAMM show, so.
You'll probably never go again. After all that noise.
So everyone asked me to unblock thrash metal and fun riffs. I never even heard of that. Who? I don't know.
That's our #1 metalhead in the chat always.
Really?
I think he got a little overzealous self-promoting a few months ago in a few chats and ended up getting blocked.
Oh, he did?
Oh, I didn't block him. It was probably a moderator. But I think that's just for the chat. That's not for the channel, is it? Like, that's just for the moment. So thrash metal, if there's a problem on the channel, just send me an email and let me look at it. info@theToneKing.com, and I'll just take a look at it. You can send me an email, check it out.
There we go.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
We'll definitely take a look at it. Excuse me. And E-Metal Madman, welcome. He says, happy 2019 from Aruba.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, welcome. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe. I think I'm 4 subscribers away from 600.
Wow.
I'd really like to have 600 before I go to NAMM.
Yeah, I think you should get to 1,000 over NAMM, man.
Well, that would be really nice, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm definitely planning on hitting the Framus booth and dropping your name and ordering a V. No.
Oh, dude, go to the Framus booth every night. Pixie Licks. I'm sorry. Steve from Boston. My apologies.
Yeah, that's classic.
Steve from Boston will be doing the hosting thing at the end of every NAMM show. So you definitely want to go to Framus. Yep. They'll have food and drinks. That's probably my biggest regret is I won't be able to hang out at the Framus booth. The people there are wonderful. Brian Wickman is my guy. You know, he's a friend. He works at Framus in Nashville, and you can tell him I said hello. But yeah, they're really good people over there. They really know how to treat people well, you know.
Yes, Steve actually sent me, or he mentioned he was in one of the chats on one of my live streams. He said, you got to come by and jam. And I'm like, done, you know, just for this chance to jam with Steve, let alone meet Steve, you know. Yeah, yeah. So that's definitely a place you want to if you're going to NAMM, you definitely want to hang out at Framus, but you want to hit that at the end of the day. They have the party at the end of the day. Probably start like 4 o'clock. Start making your way over there.
Crate's a good one. No, Laney, I think. Was it either Crate or Laney? I remember they always have the beer kegs at the end of the day. And everyone piles over there. That's always a fun one. Well, that could work. Yeah. It's a bunch of Liverpool guys who hang out there, and they all endorsed by them, and they're a good team there. And Kiesel, want to go to Kiesel? Of course, yeah. Guitar again down the road from me, and hopefully they took to. I mentioned it on last week's chat with you, Ben. You know, TK put it out to Acacia to build a $900 guitar. What was the response, TK? Because I'm down, man.
Well, I told the folks at Acacia, I'm like, you know, what's exciting? Listen, any company could build a great guitar and charge a lot of money for it. That's not exciting, you know. Yeah. You know, you build a USA-made guitar, a good USA-made guitar for $999. You're breaking a price point that a lot of people just can't hit.
The Hades, is the reasonable priced one? The Hades, is it?
Pro Series, it's a Pro Series. Yeah. So it's like it's a ash body, which is nice. You know, it's good, but it's usually like a flat color, like a matte finish single color. But you know, I think they'll, you know, listen, the whole point of doing a limited run is so you could, you know, you could, whatever the amount is, 50 guitars, 40 guitars, is to sell all 40 or 50. You don't want to have a limited run of 50 and then only 10 people buy it. That tells you it wasn't done right.
They should pick it up one notch and do a run of 50 and you pick your color. I mean,
something like that. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard in a small custom shop like that. Is it hard to just change the colors? You know, if they get a run of greens, a run of reds, a run of blues, because I'd like to be able to pick my color unless they actually brought out the one I wanted, you know.
I think that's actually a pretty reasonable ask. You know, shooting a solid color isn't really a big deal. So maybe they pick like, okay, here are, you know, the 5 colors you could choose from, that type of thing. This way, you know, on Monday they shoot the blues, on Tuesday they shoot the reds, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. $1,000 with tax, man, for an Acacia, that would be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I think that, I mean, ultimately it's up to them though, right? You know, I'm just a middleman.
I'm the next one down, and who keeps passing on that message through
I was definitely trying to put their feet to the fire. You know, that was a very architected move on my behalf to say, "Hey guys, why don't you commit while we're live?"
Say a price as well. It's like that's the price. Hey, I thought that was a great price.
That was me going to bat for the viewers. Come on, Acacia. What do you say? You know,
you got one here who will commit, and the great thing about that is they're down the road, so I'll be able to cruise down and
watch it get made.
Oh, exactly, man. So fingers crossed on that. We'll see him and put in a little word from hey, TK wanted me to pass on a message. How's that model coming along?
There you go.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to Kevin. He said he ordered one of my t-shirts. Thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it. Any proceeds from the shirt sales goes back into the channel. So allows me to do things like go to NAMM.
Hey, TK, is the stage still coming forth in your room? You were going to build a stage at one point.
No, I never did. I just put everything on a carpet instead. It seemed easier.
Wow.
You know, because they sell those like little stage things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that would have worked. I think you know, my thoughts were a little big for the reality of. So yeah, no stage was ever built.
Great dream though, man. I had visions when I'm like, hell, it's
me too.
We're gonna have some shows going on, some high gain amp shootouts.
Yeah.
You just need some
but
pyro.
it's nice. You know what I have learned? It's hard because like all the cameras are set up, so it'd be nice to be able to do stuff in different things, but that means moving lighting and moving cameras and microphones, and you know that just gets to be a PITA that you know I don't really want to deal with when I'm ready to shoot a video. So
right.
Background stays pretty
Showman
boring.
Blues joining us. Good to see Showman there.
Showman Blues in the house.
Can I ask what those orange amps are over there? The two heads?
Yeah, one is a Rockaverb 50 and the other one is a Thunderverb 50.
Wow. Adam H's favorite amp right there, the Rockaverb 50.
Yeah. So the original 50 had 6 V6 tubes, and it just sounds so sweet. And they went to the Mach 2 went to EL34. And when I asked my guy at Carvin, I said, why would you change something that worked? He said, because people wanted EL34s. Think about that. You know, it's you know, answering, you know, they're trying to sell a product that people are demanding. I get it. But I think the 6V6 is actually better in that amp.
There's something special with the ELs, though, for clean sounds.
Yeah.
You know, I think the 6V6 is for the more dirtier sounds. But the EL34s for clean sounds are awesome. So maybe that's why, to clean it up a little.
I bought the Rockaverb I bought used on eBay many years ago. And many years ago, I had asked my buddy, hey, can you send over the Thunderverb 50? It was a loaner. And, man, it just sounded so good. So I did one of those, what will it take to leave it behind type of conversation. And
wow,
we worked it out, you know.
And then one more bit of secret sauce behind you there. That's Soldano.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite amps.
That's the king right there.
Yeah.
Which apparently, according to your side chats, you're just storing that for Shane from In the Blues, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
He said he'd trade you straight up a PV Bandit for it.
I think that's a fair trade, right? You know, it hasn't made its way on video yet, but maybe I'll do a quick iPhone video. Over the holidays, or actually before the holidays, I picked up a Reverbo Sonic and actually think I found something that I like better than that hot rod behind me. That Reverbo Sonic just sounds so good. I think it has to do with the, you know, the reverb that's, you know, the built-in reverb. Just it's lush. Wow. It just sounds so good. You know, I mean, when was the last time you just plugged into the front of an amp and said this amp doesn't need anything else? Never, right? Well, that Reverbo Sonic, it's just, oh my God, it sounds so good. And I picked that up for a song. You know, usually you can't touch those for under $1,500. I think I paid like under $1,000.
Wow.
You know, it's just crazy price.
There's a question here for you, Lewis. Gussie Wells is asking, Marshall or Orange?
If I had to choose,
what do you prefer?
I'd choose a Marshall.
Yeah.
You know?
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
I find Orange I guess that both companies are the same. Like they both are great at what they do, but they're not the most versatile heads in the world.
Yeah.
At least that's my opinion. They seem to be changing, more in the last few years, opening up a little more. But that's for the longest time. You plugged into an Orange, you knew right away that's an Orange. And
Yeah, you won't turn it into something else at all. It's always going to have that.
The Marshall is very predictable. You know exactly. It's the sound in your head. You know what you're going to get.
No matter what they make as well, no matter what budget amp they make, it's always got a Marshall sound of some sort.
Yeah.
No matter what price range, it's still Marshall.
Yeah. It's like you pick up, I don't care how many Les Pauls you play. You'll never play two that sound exactly the same.
I'm really surprised.
Like a Les Paul.
But they all sound like Les Pauls.
Yeah. I'm really surprised at Marshall. We were talking earlier about, what was it? The JMP1? Is that what the model was?
Yeah.
Think about it. Marshall led the way with, I don't know, call it what you want, modeling, right? I don't know what you'd call the JMP1, tube modeling, analog modeling.
It's got a 12AX7 in it.
Yeah. But they were able to take all the different Marshall amps, put it in a box.
Yeah.
And the world was convinced that you could get all those different Marshall tones in a JMP1, right? Then and they did it. They knocked it out of the park. Every professional musician at some point had that in that rack. And then it's like they forgot what they did. They forgot how to hit a home run. They came out with the code, and the code is not.
Oh.
We
lost him.
Right at that critical point. The code is not.
You beat me, Terry.
TK's totally right, though. That Marshall, I mean, it's like to have a speaker emulator out in 1991.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And it sounds amazing. You put it through the interface directly into your computer with any of those tones in that Marshall rack with speaker emulator on, and it sounds huge.
You're good to go now, Terry.
Yep. Thanks. I don't know. Maybe I haven't muted by accident. Maybe that's what's going on.
There you are.
Yeah, maybe there's like an auto mute if it doesn't detect a signal after a couple of minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
Lou says the Marshall gods have spoken.
It looks like Tom King just said looks like his internet just went down. So I'm not the only one tonight.
Well, what a pleasure having Tone King on board tonight. That was awesome.
That was good.
Yeah, it's always awesome having him on.
I'm sure everyone in the chat is already subscribed. I doubt there's anyone in there who isn't. But if you're not, he followed him forever, since the old original room. It's funny, when you were searching Tone back in the day, you'd try and type in some keywords on YouTube and guess who would pop up?
Pop up, that's right. Yeah.
Guess who would pop up every time? You're like,
yeah.
Who's this guy, man? Stare at all his amps, because it was just right in your face back then as well. Brilliant. TK rules, absolutely mayhem.
Yeah. No, it's true. That's I mean, that's how I found the Tone King. And Shane and the Blues was, I had this inexpensive the pedal that I traded Ben for, that Tone City. Who's doing reviews on these? And of course, who was doing reviews on every pedal that ever came out? Shane from In the Blues. That's how I discovered Shane. You know? Exactly. It's crazy.
So we'll give it a few more minutes here. We'll probably wrap up around 10 p.m. Eastern. Excuse me. I got a frog in my throat. TK's going to try to jump back in for the end. We'll see.
Adam says, Tone King's EVH NAM vid will forever be the greatest NAM vid ever.
I agree.
Absolutely, Adam.
Yeah. And I love the fact that after that, because literally, anytime somebody could come into side chat, and start slagging Lewis, going, you can't play. And he's like, well, Eddie seems to think different. So.
Yeah. And so for those in the chat who do not know what we're talking about, he was sitting down jamming out on the EVH amps at NAM, and guess who walks up behind him and comments on his playing? No one but Eddie Van Halen. Yeah, it was.
Wow.
really quite mind-blowing.
What am I most looking forward to at NAMM? That exact experience. I want to be jamming away and somebody happens to tap me on the shoulder and JJ happens to be filming it at the time.
Yeah. It's exciting times coming, man, for sure.
Yeah, he's gonna have a blast.
There was rumors of him appearing last year. I wonder if he'll actually appear this year at some point.
I did hear one rumor about it.
It's long overdue. Let's face it.
And I can't remember what it was exactly, but yes, because of the possibility of a new guitar coming out in the EVH line, he wants to make. But it's the usual problem is they want him to show up on the Thursday or the Friday, but he wants to show up on Saturday, which is the busiest day, and that's the worst day for them as an infrastructure to have him show up.
You know what? To be honest, it makes no difference. It's completely nuts. The minute those doors open, it's complete mayhem. Whatever day it is, it's just, it makes no difference. When there's big stars there, it's quite controlled, and people, you know, it's not like fan mayhem there. People are going about their business. There's a lot of autographs I'm signing. You know, it's
Todd Flower says, look up Greg Koch, get a play on his new Reverend. Yes, I was fortunate enough. I met up with Greg at Sweetwater this year, and I would really like to meet up with him again at NAMM. And talk to him. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Reverend, hopefully they'll be there, man. They want to check them out for sure.
Yeah, their guitars are awesome.
Would be a great opportunity for you to try to get some contact with Rev Amps as well too.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely planning on hitting Rev Amps.
Yeah, they have a little booth there, a tiny little room. It's like a toilet cubicle you'd get at a rock venue or something like that.
Well, I think, you know,
they got a couple of amps in there, and it's just full volume. There's a couple of windows, so you can peek in and.
Well, I figured you
crank it out. And my buddy Joe would be in there. He plays incredible, like Floyd and Zeppelin covers and all that sort of stuff. And it's note for note, and he'd just be cranking the Zeppelin out, and the tone coming out of that little toilet booth, and all the little eyes coming through the window. You're like, what is? It's like being in the TARDIS in Doctor Who.
Nice.
Yeah, those Rev Amps, man. You talk about feeling it in your chest. They're serious amps, man.
Well, I've been wanting to play their gear for a while, and I really, you know, I'd love to demo some of their stuff, being a Canadian company too. You know, I'm all about supporting Canadian brands. So
I don't think they'll have any amps this year. I think they're just going to have the G3 and the G4 pedal.
It'll be one little card table with two pedals on it.
I tell you, those things sound sick. They'll just have their toilet cubicle with those two pedals in there.
Sure.
And Ola England.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I'll tell you the other one I want to check out, which I let this guitar go at Guitar Center. It was super cheap, and it was the budget version from Korea, the Yamaha Revstar.
Oh yeah.
You know them ones?
Yep. Great stuff.
Awesome guitars, and on Eric from EVH, he had the Smashing Pumpkins guy on there who plays them, because I think Billy Corgan plays them as well, and that Paul Hindmarsh from Line 6. But there's a US version. I started pricing them out. They ain't cheap. You know. Oh, sorry for the Japanese version, the full on one.
Apparently the chat's blowing up because you referenced the TARDIS and Doctor Who. So
nice.
How much of a bunch of nerds we all are.
Love it.
Mayhem says, last night on Sinners podcast, I showed my LTD, but you got to play it. Do you think I got a good deal? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I played that guitar, and well worth the $400 Canadian he played for it. Or even $450, with the setup and stuff. Yeah, well worth it.
Being a Kiss fan, Ben, you should go to the Ibanez booth and check out the top of the line Paul Stanley model guitars, because they're crazy.
Oh, they are nice. Yeah.
They're so elaborate. And he was at NAMM last year. He made an appearance to, announce his latest.
I played some Iceman guitars, but I haven't played one of his signature guitars. And
I've played Iceman before, but these are the ones. He's got the smashed mirror, but now it's a smashed mirror and it's purple.
Oh.
Like it's...
See, now I just want
ornate.
One. You got me at smashed mirror, and then you had me at purple smashed mirror.
Purple smashed mirror.
Now, was that
one of those acquisitions in 2019 will probably be. Thanks.
Is that the Iceman or is that Paul Gilbert's one? No.
No, Paul Gilbert's is the
variation on
Fireman
it.
because it's a reversed Iceman.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
so
a
the
Fireman.
Iceman is Paul Stanley's.
That's right.
Paul Gilbert flipped it upside down and turned
Put
it
the
into
horn on the top. Basically reversed the front end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They both look cool. There's an original one for sale here, one of Paul Stanley's ones, and they want pretty good money for that thing. But it looks sick, awesome looking.
What are you talking about? Like a 70s one? The
Yeah.
PS10?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's got to be pricey, man.
It's like $3,500 or something.
Oh, see, I thought it'd be more than that.
Yeah, white one.
White. I didn't know they came in white.
Yeah.
I thought they were black. Anyway.
And who did I see jump in? Lefty Mike. Good to see you. We're just kind of wrapping things up, which is definitely always the case. People always jump in when we wrap things up.
Yeah, you got 60 people watching right now.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I think I saw 63 or 65 at one point.
Wow.
I know. Not too shabby on a Sunday night.
Well, you
So,
know what? Can I say something quick now that there's 60 people on here?
Of course.
I'd like to thank the people for the support that I've been getting for the merch for cancer. Gotten quite a few orders in, which has been really, really good.
F cancer.
Yeah, yeah. Well, on the back of the back of the shirts, I've got rock off cancer because I can't say what you just said. But yeah, so I'd like to thank everybody for the support.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Behind that merch. So
Excellent.
hopefully we'll have some money we can
Hello?
donate. Pardon me?
I was just saying hello to 2 3/4 Jams. Just jumped in. Nice. Yeah, I got You're gonna have those up for a while, right? Those shirts.
Yeah, I think so.
Good, good. Because once I get back from NAMM, it's on my list.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is, Ben, I basically dropped the price down a lot, but still Canadian. They're still stupid expensive.
Yeah, but it's for a good cause.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. We get soaked over here so bad. It's crazy.
And plus, that'll be a good shirt to wear gigging. Play Freebird. Obviously, I can't. I'm a hack.
I think TK back in the house.
Thanks, Brent from Oregon.
TK in the house.
Yeah.
TK in the house.
Yeah, Mayhem, I'll sign it if you want to drive to Toronto.
Be interesting if we see Mesa Boogie at NAMM this year. They haven't been for a long time.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
Yeah, that'll be
They
interesting.
haven't been for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Or
they haven't put out much.
GNL for a few years either.
Showman's asking, what's the link for the shirts? Do you have that in the description of all your videos, Hack? If not, there's a video talking about it on his channel.
Yeah, I have a video specifically about it, and the link is there, and it's also any newer videos, the link will be below.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the way I set it up, is it automatically populates my description. So I just have to type in a couple of lines each show just saying, oh, we're talking gear. Even though we're always talking about gear, but...
Yeah,
So,
shout out. Sorry.
I was just going
shout
to
out
say,
Jason Wade on his new Telecaster. That thing looked awesome. That
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah, that is nice. Nice to see another tele player that has the 4-way wiring, too.
yeah,
You'll love it, buddy.
that was
Yeah,
cool.
the only mod I've done to mine from yours is where yours is all the way forward for that out of phase sound. I reversed the 1 and 3 position, so I go straight from bridge to that out of phase. I swapped the two settings for the both pickups.
You do that, or Richie do that for you?
Oh, Richie did it. No way.
Hey, if you
No.
can do all that, you're going to come down here and wire up some of my guitars, buddy.
The one Richie did for me, he has it wired the same way as Jason Wade's. When Travis built my signature model, he wired it up the way I wanted it.
Okay.
1 second.
Yeah, because I wanted to be able to go from twang to strat with one flick of one position. That was my deal.
Right.
All right, I have posted in the side chat the link to Guitar
Oh,
Hacks.
thanks, Terry.
Teespring
Perfect.
store. No
Thank
problem.
you, Terry.
Hack, that's awesome, man.
It's like so people keep congratulating. It's a no-brainer, man.
Cancer.
No,
You
it's
know-
no-brainer. Like I do cancer stuff all year round. For me,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is one many things, man. Till I'm in my
Yeah.
grave, I want to keep doing shit, anything I can.
Yeah. Thrash metal. We're not playing any music tonight. We're just talking.
No Slayer tonight.
No Slayer. No. Come on. I did some drop D thugging for you last week there. For a
Did you
change of
pick it up?
pace.
Did you pick it up? Drop D. Forget it.
Yeah, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, I picked it back up into standard tuning after that.
Tuning? Yeah.
RJ,
Hey.
sure.
Anyone got any word on Poo Ninja? Where's Poo Ninja? I haven't seen him for a long time.
Yeah,
I have no
it's
idea.
true. I don't. He changed his name to Mr. Vader.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and then
Well,
I haven't seen him
You're
after that.
good in his world because I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not sure how well this will come through. I'll even present myself. But since it's in hand, RJ wanted to know. So this is the signature guitar we're talking about. It's a P90 loaded Telecaster, more or less. These are available. They're built to order. We haven't built up an inventory yet. So currently they're built to order from Reno Finn Custom Guitars out of Victoria, British Columbia. And I believe the street price is right around 2,000 Canadian, which is about 1,400 US. He builds it, ships it to you. And yeah, mahogany body, 4-way switch, maple neck, unfinished neck, just some stain on it, stainless steel frets. I think they're like a mini Grover tuner, 6-saddle bridge, like off an American Telecaster. And yeah, that's kind of it. Hey, Swaff Trainwreck, good to see you, Bruce.
Air conditioning and cruise control included.
Yeah. Yeah. Available in a variety of finishes. This one, and this one.
Convertible top option.
There you go. Yes, you're going to be seeing more of this in 2019. There's some things in the works that I can't talk about right now, but I can talk about after NAMM.
I'd like to see some green on there. That'd look killer.
We may offer it in different finishes. We haven't. It's it's only been out since September, I think, JJ.
Yeah,
I think I got it.
Yeah, August.
Maybe October.
Yeah, it was October, I think.
Yeah.
Did that fret finally settle down? You had that one which was after its
it one spring it will go out after like at almost a full step bend on the B string, I believe. So it's like right in the center of the fret. It's just a touch high still. So yeah, I got that's actually going to Richie to get the frets done on it once I get my 71 telly back from him. So I can't burden him with too much work because then he starts charging me.
Scott,
how's that red shred monster doing? You still jamming that one out?
Which one?
The Kramer.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was playing it. When was I playing that? Last week I was playing it. I think. I can't remember now. Oh, I played it on the live stream last Sunday. That's right.
Okay.
Scott Nickerson was asking if your signature came with a heated neck.
That
was funny.
that is a good one. Yeah, it's a block heater. It comes with a block heater.
You got to plug it in overnight.
Yeah. And for those who don't know that are south of the border, a block heater is in a lot of Canadian climates. It gets so cold at night that you have a heating system in the engine block of your car because the oil can potentially freeze overnight or just simply be too cold to turn over in the morning. Mm-hmm. You actually have to leave it plugged in overnight. So there you go. There's Canadian 101 right there, right? And you always carry jumper cables.
Yeah.
And WD-40 to spraying the distributor.
Yeah.
Oh, Todd Flower says they got them too. That blackish Strat looks awesome. Which guitar would that be? Oh, my Stratocaster. It's actually a pewter color, I believe.
Hey, did you ever get an answer from Steve Anderson whether he was going to NAMM the other day?
No, I asked him a couple of times on Thursday. He was in my chat on Thursday night, and I asked, but I didn't see anything about it.
Anyone in the chat going to NAMM?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yes, sec here. And to you, Bruce, aka Suave Trainwreck, I'm messaging you on Facebook about something. Which is something I can take care of momentarily once he answers me.
Yeah, okay. You're on it.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael B's here. How are you, Michael?
Hey, Michael B.
I got a question for Michael B. Does he use OBS when he's doing his live
I
stream?
believe he does.
I'm stuck on that whole gig right now. You know, me and Adam are trying to get our show up and running, but we want to be able to play live and not, you know, sound underwater. And I looked on OBS today to see how that all works, and that looks really complicated, setting that whole deal up.
Well,
Yeah, it looks like Michael B is now not going to NAMM.
Oh, man. Michael B says, yes, I think he does use OBS. You were correct. And Will Varela, yes, that is a red Charvel above. Yeah, made in Japan. I think 2010. One of my top guitars there for feel and playing. Those necks are just unbelievable. And again, great deals. You can find them used for less than a new Mexican made in Guitar Center. Go buy the made in Japan. The only bummer is the truss rod adjustment. You've got to take the neck off. Doesn't have the wheel by the neck pickup. But incredible guitars. And apparently,
All right, folks,
not to be
blowing
weird,
up the chat.
the red one does play really good, man.
Ed Dana's asking me a question. I guess I'll ask all of you or we have everybody up here. He's asking if I have any Fender guitars. Yeah, I've got two of them. I've got a Telecaster and I've got a Stratocaster. So what have you guys got?
Thank you, Adam. Just getting rid of some more unwanted trolls. Thank you, Elmo. We know you leave a ton of thumbs down on the channel.
Bummer, Zach, but rock on, man. Wish I could meet you at NAMM. Maybe next year. Anyone who can't make it, hope to see you there next year.
Thanks, 2 and 3 chord jams.
Yes, Chuck Booth, Charvel necks.
Well, looks like we got a bit of an invasion going.
Yeah, somebody's bummed out, man. On a Sunday? Seriously, have they had a bad weekend?
I don't know, man.
Well, there's a community, anyone that's watched my channel for more than a week knows I've been getting inundated with a bunch of thumbs downs. Yeah. Someone's got a hate on for me. They have a hate on for Terry. And because Terry is part of the round table, they've started targeting this channel, someone in particular. And so apparently he's letting himself known tonight under multiple accounts. So see you, because we don't want negativity around here, right? We like to keep things positive.
Yeah, it's crazy town, dude.
Yeah. Like as Thrash Metal says, a thumb's a thumb. Yeah, up or down. It's still an interaction, according to YouTube. But for the viewer that's going to click on a video, are you going to watch a video that has more thumbs downs than thumbs ups? Maybe you will out of curiosity, or maybe you're thinking it's a bad video.
Okay, Jason Wade says, OBS Studio works better in my experience than OBS Streamlabs, but if you use Google Hangouts via either OBS, you will still sound underwater.
There you go. And I know he spent a lot of time. Yes. He'd be the guy to ask.
Yeah, I'll be cornering some people at NAMM to get the info as well, because there's some good tones coming out on YouTube by certain people.
Yeah, you got to pick some brains and find out what their secret sauce
Brains,
is.
man. Yeah, Paul Mello. 2 trolls in one show. You're famous now. Rock on. You're almost a gamer.
Easy, Scott Nickerson. Yeah, D over F sharp was difficult until I learned I can use my thumb. Yeah, that's highway to hell, basically. Swap had good luck with OBS, he's saying.
I just got another message from Lewis. He's still trying to jump back in.
Oh, okay.
Hey, marks those images.
Oh,
Zach,
okay.
Aiden Jacobs' channel. So make a note of that, Ben.
Okay, cool.
Aiden,
thank you.
Aiden Jacobs, okay. Four Walls Music
Four Walls
has got
Music.
a question. Sorry,
We got a question, eh?
Yeah.
Yay! Guitar talk.
Hey, let's talk about guitars. How did
Well,
you guys get started in playing guitars?
How did you get started, Hack?
How did I get started? I was about, I think it was like 10, 11 years old. There was a kid in school that played at music night, and I always liked guitars, and I thought it sounded really cool. And then I started just screwing around with guitars, and that's kind of it. I just saw another kid do it, and I'm like, if he could do it, I can do it. And it sounds damn good. Pretty much. That's my story. Terry, let's go across the board here.
Yeah.
We've
I
lost
can't hear you, Terry.
And of course, this mic stops
His
working
mic's
again.
gone. Okay.
That was the toughest time with that mic.
Test.
There you
Oh, there he is.
There we go.
There you go,
I don't
Terry.
know why it's doing that. I can do it. I can run this mic and run this setup through anything else, and it doesn't do it. It's just for some reason the Hangout's been doing it lately. To quickly answer Jason Wade, I probably will be streaming Brutal Legend or whatever it was there. I probably will be streaming that again eventually. As for me, I cannot offhand remember when exactly or what exactly was, but I'm pretty sure it was seeing someone like Jimi Hendrix playing guitar, and that was what ignited it for me.
Welcome back, Lewis.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys. That was actually I had to reset both my cable modem and my router, which was weird.
Wow.
Wow.
You get a little maybe power spike or a little brownout, maybe?
Not that it was visible to me, so I don't know.
That's
Weird.
what usually would cause that. That's odd.
And I'm hardwired in too, so I did everything. I restarted the computer. You know, I did everything down here before I went upstairs to reset a couple of things up there. So I don't know what went wrong.
Yeah.
Just blame where you live.
You know, we get so much grief up here because our internet in Canada is not the best. It's good to know we're not the only ones.
Yeah. My internet for the most part is pretty stable, but sometimes it's I think the most interesting thing that, by the way, if I'm interrupting a conversation that already happened, I'll zip it. Were you in the middle of something before I rejoined?
No, actually, we were talking about what were we talking about? How we got started in playing guitar.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's
Gotcha. So the most interesting thing, when I lost my internet, I had Doug from Jet City here. And it's funny because my Sling Studio didn't go down, but my laptop did. So everybody still heard us talking, even though we thought it was down. Luckily, we didn't say anything bad while we thought the internet was down. Luckily.
Shows the good people you are, man.
Shows that we were honest to goodness people.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's funny, we looked at each other. We were like, we didn't say anything bad, did we? We're like, no, I think we're okay. Because, off camera, it's, it's a little different. It's like, F this, what the F happened? It gets a little crazy.
Yeah, it's like I was setting up to go live one night, and for our Thursday show, we do it on the mobile app on the iPad. And all I wanted to do is just to see how many people were waiting, and I accidentally hit go live like half an hour earlier. So all you hear is like me going, oh, drop a curse word, and then delete the video.
Yeah.
Oops.
Ed is our favorite fan, by the way.
Hmm.
So, by the way, guys, I started to say something.
Marshall. You're talking about Marshall.
Realized I was talking to myself. Would you mind if I finished my thought? We were talking about the JMP one.
You left us all high and dry.
Yeah, yeah. We got to that point. We got to the code.
The climax was gone.
So I started to say, and guys, keep me honest here. Tell me if I'm the crazy one. Marshall had the JMP one, which you could argue was perhaps one of the most successful units. Let's call it a modeling unit, right? An analog modeling unit, right? They nailed all the different Marshall tones in this box.
Mm-hmm.
All tube. Every pro artist, every amateur artist swore by it. So they hit a home run with the JMP one. So my question is, there it is. Yeah,
There it is for those who aren't aware.
So my question is, why didn't they continue developing that instead of the code? Like that could have become the code.
Yeah.
But it's like they rewrote it. They rewrote the recipe. They already had a home run. They rewrote the recipe for the code. And where I'm not saying the code is bad, I am saying the code is not the JMP one.
Different engineers. I mean, it's like the guy from PV who made the 6505, James Brown. He's not there anymore. So if they wanted to recreate their next 6505, which I guess was the 5150 to a point, but if they wanted another brutal high gain amp, they wouldn't have James Brown, would they?
Right. Yeah.
So who was at this, like, it was so ahead of its time to have that speaker emulator out and to sound so good back in that time was crazy.
Yep.
Incredible piece.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I always wanted to own. And I've gone on eBay to look, and it's always, this doesn't work, or we modded that. It's like, doesn't anyone just have an original?
You'll see them in racks. People are selling racks. They've got their old rack, the whole setup. And they generally don't want to part out because it's their dream rack, and you're going to buy it all and have the dream or nothing.
Yep. I actually have my Mesa Studio in for service right now. I was getting DC voltage on one of the pots. It was just making some horrible noise, and I brought it into Mike from Sporty Sound, who is taking care of all my amps now. And it's those old units, they always require a little bit of TLC, but those there's nothing like those old units. I don't care what anyone says. They are just such good machines,
Yeah. And the Mesa with the Mesa Triaxis.
I've played a Triaxis, but I had the Studio and the Quad. I still have both. So I never really needed the Triaxis.
Right.
I never had a Marshall preamp. That's what was missing.
Right, yeah.
So
if I ever see anything around, I'll certainly shout it out to you, too.
Yeah, if you ever see a mint condition that they're not asking $800 for, Yeah. I'm looking for the mint condition $400.
Well, I'm in California, so they're around, because I'm always looking for the matching power amp, the 5050, but I want it for the right price. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know what you should get too for that if you're building that. They also I don't remember what it was called, like the JFFX or something. They had
the JMP effects, the effects one. Yes, they're around as well. Yeah.
You should get the whole thing, man. That's
nice family
rig.
Back together.
And you know what? I'll tell you, hands down, that'll sound better than half the stuff you could buy today.
Oh man, and it's a two 2x12s, which was how I used to run it in stereo.
Mm-hmm.
and I'd have the MIDI going. And we'd go through a computer back in the day as well. So my tremolo would be through the computer system, just switching the MIDI on and off, creating the stereo tremolo in the speakers. It was the biggest sound, man. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
You know, I think older gear is reminiscent of a time. Like today, they try to create these all-in-ones to give you a little bit of everything. And the older stuff just nails that genre perfectly. You know,
but it's just a lot. If you're heading down to the local club to bang your gig out, I mean, I've still got the love for that. If the gigs were there for me, I would still be the guy. You'll never hear me moaning about lugging gear around. I think that's part and parcel of rock and roll in my game. You know, lug your gear around, and if you're getting too old, get your mates to help you out. Get gear in there.
You raise a good point, right? Everybody always, here's the question everyone always asks: what's your favorite guitar? What's your favorite amp? What's your desert island gear?
Yeah.
What's the gear you would take out on a gig?
Right.
That's the question, because our favorite stuff isn't necessarily what we would haul out with us, right?
Yeah.
You know, and truthfully, like for me, it would be a 2x12 with a couple of pedals, maybe like a tube screamer and a reverb or something like that. I mean, it's bare bones, really is bare bones. It's nothing crazy.
Well, I gig regularly. So I was just gonna say, I gig regularly, and one of the benefits of having a few decent guitars is I rotate them. So it's like you got a guitar that plays great, and put that one away, and then if you grab one you haven't played in about 3 or 4 months, it's like a brand new guitar all over again, And I kind of do that. But as far as like in effects and all that, I got my pedal board with all the effects that I need that I can go through a night. And as far as what head I bring and whether I bring a combo or the cab and the head, it really depends on the size of the venue and how loud I need to be. But like the most important thing is, and I mean everybody knows this, the stuff's just got to work. Whatever you take out just absolutely
got to work.
Right.
I watched the other day, Shane from In the Blues did his little live.
Oh, that was awesome.
I'll tell you what, the quality, the sound quality.
Yeah.
I don't know if he posted it up, but I'd love to know how he captured that, because it was like CD quality. Like the just watching the video, it was like, wow, dude, I felt like I was watching like a live concert. It was really good.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, he does have a faster internet connection now.
Yes, he does.
That helps big time.
But that was
that was recorded though.
That was recorded. So I don't know if he mic'd up and put it into like a a lot of people like Steve from Boston at GitCon brought his laptop, recorded direct into the DAW. That seems to be what a lot of people do nowadays.
That's true.
So I'm thinking maybe he did something like that because the audio is exceptional.
Was it the gig with Dr. Rick when they were all up?
Yeah,
maybe it's one of these like Zoom, like the higher quality Zoom and some of these high quality recording devices you can get for those areas now. With some of the settings on them, they can really get good tones out of them. Even the smaller Zoom, this one, you go to a venue and record stuff, it captures everything.
Oh, he's telling you what he's using. He's in the
chat. There we go.
Wow.
I used an 8-track Zoom recorder and then synced and edited the whole thing in post after mixing and mastering the audio on my DAW. There you go.
So in the Blues, my question is, was every amp mic'd into its own track? Like, did you have the drums mic, the bass mic, you and Dr. Rick, was that all separate tracks being recorded in? Because like I said, the audio was exceptional. The playing was great. Dr. Rick is awesome, but the audio was it was outstanding.
I don't think he did. Well,
it was one of the best videos I thought he did.
Yeah.
I love the live thing, the playing, the soul that was in it. I mean, that was one of the best videos I think I saw Shane do to date. That was wonderful. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, everyone wants to have Dr. Rick's feel.
Dr. Rick is the man, let me tell you.
He's a monster.
He is such a nice guy, too. 3 drum mics, 1 vocal, 1 bass, 3 guitar. So he did a lot of work.
Wow, nice.
There's a lot of work in there.
Yep. You went to town.
Yeah. Well, you did a great job, man. Great job. It was worth the effort. You know, that's the tough thing. Like when I do, I think you guys probably know, I do some work with Chuck Levins, where I'll go and, you know, do a couple of 5 videos at a single shot. And it's just, you know, I'm already bringing a lot of gear. The last thing you want to bring is now a laptop and extra mics. And it's just, man, like you could really go crazy with getting all this stuff done right. But, you know, the $1 million question is, how do you do all that with, because Shane clearly did a lot of work there. How do you get that output without doing all that work? That's what I want to know.
That was work. I mean, you got to mic everything up and you've got to get your basic sound. You can always mess with it later, but you've got to get some good raw sounds down to, you know, down to digital, and then you're off. But that was, I'd like to know who mixed it all in the end. Was that Shane? Did you mix it?
And he did it without the laptop, so he just did it in the Zoom thing, huh? Wow.
Well, he's
did a great job,
saying,
man.
He's saying he produced a lot of albums over the years for himself and other artists, and he enjoys mixing.
There you go. There you go. He's got the ears. There you go.
He didn't bring a laptop, so yeah.
So Shane, outstanding video. Let's put it like this: the average, because we look at rates, average retention rate for a video. If you're lucky, you get 3 minutes. I watched all 30 minutes. Like it was, you know,
it's like watching a gig.
I bet you if he looks at the retention rate on that video, he's probably in, you know, at least half, 50% rate on that video. It was that good. You know, I felt like I was in the audience watching it. It was great. Nice job.
Now that was cakewalk for him. It was sanding a neck that was the struggle.
Yeah, it was a lot of work to get that thing rolling.
But I'll go and record a whole band, no worries.
See, the problem for me is all that work doesn't make me a better player. Here we go. Recorder has an SD card recorder, so thankfully records to itself, and then I put the computer once I get back. Yep. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that gig. I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen to the sound, but yeah.
Now, Shane, I want to see the metal version. I want to see the Metallica version, man. You got to get outside of your comfort zone.
Drop D blues.
Yeah. Here we go. Now there's a video. Drop D blues.
Drop D blues.
On a separate note,
welcome back, Clam Fingers. Great name.
On a separate note, since we're talking about the blues and rock, I'll tell you, one of my favorite bands, I don't know if I've ever really mentioned this to anyone, I really love Great White. They're like definitely blues, but hard rock blues. And, their guitar work, their singing, their groove, just the mood that, you know, their songs put you in. I'll tell you what, I wish there were more bands like Great White, you know. They've done a good job.
Small venue in Long Beach back in the day in like 1988. In that one big album with the Rock Me song on it. Yeah, when that album came out, we saw him up in Long Beach. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Nice.
That guy who was on Johnny Beane's show, he's got the Shark guitar.
Yes.
He owns that Shark guitar.
That was who was the guitarist that had the Shark guitar? It was Mark White. Was that his name? No. Who's the guitarist to Great White? Mark something, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. It's on tip of my brain.
That's trivia question for the audience.
Yeah.
It's Mark something or other. I think he was the one that had the Shark guitar commission, right? In fact, I think Ed Roman built him that Shark guitar.
I think Ed built the first one, and then somebody else built 2 more for him, I believe.
Gotcha.
And I agree. Zach Thong says Guitar Hack should have Mike Bradley on.
Mark,
if I can help you facilitate that, you should do it, Hack.
Oh,
Mike's a great guy. I had a blast.
Huge Mike Bradley fan. I've been sub to him for ages. He's an insanely good guitar player. Yeah, sure.
Mark,
Great White is still rocking it though. They're still touring. They came through here. I was going to go, but the show got cancelled. But they're still rocking it.
And then they're one of those bands. There's Great White, and then there's Jack Russell's Great White.
That was the one that came through. Jack Russell's Great White. That's the one that came through.
You know, a band from that era that got unfortunately kind of lumped in with the whole hair thing, but they're just a really good hard rock blues band is Cinderella.
Cinderella's really good as well, and you're right.
They got lumped in with that whole thing, but there was a lot of substance to that band, and what
made them not part of that thing? I mean, they looked like
I
Hey,
know.
They looked the part, but they were all playing like Les Pauls, first
Yeah.
of all.
They're not. Yeah, they got lumped into that whole genre, but
They did a
they're
lot of
just a
open
straight like
stuff.
a heavy blues band.
Well, I think what
Yeah.
happened for Cinderella, they introduced themselves into the hair metal scene. But
Yeah,
they weren't really like they're no Motley Crue.
they're not. That's my exactly. But that cover of that stupid album,
Yeah.
right? That was like, right away put them in that genre, and they were never really a part of it. They were not Motley Crue, exactly.
I agree 100%. And they're a great band. They almost
amazing band.
miscategorized themselves, right?
Yeah, they were great.
I think Old Man Dan got it right. He said like Bon Jovi helped give them their start, and you think, look how Bon Jovi, and they said, look, dress like us, act like us, it'll work. Trust us,
Mm.
Yep.
That's true.
It's a good show to watch for anyone tuning in. You have 45 minutes. It's a VH1, one of the VH1 shows. It's on YouTube, and I think it's called. It was like rock music, LA Sunset Strip. Like it covers the whole thing from where it started in the early 80s all the way until grunge, and it shows literally the bell curve of that genre. And everything we're talking about, they were all in there from the early 80s bands like Quiet Riot to probably the top was Guns N' Roses, and then where it all tapered off. If anyone remembers the name of that, Behind the Music. No, it wasn't Ozzy. It was one of those Behind the Music. I could probably find it real quick. Hang on, but it's a tremendous watch. Let me look real quick. Hang on.
Yeah, Gazzari's, man, that's where they all came out of. Gazzari's, that was a big club up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Van Halen played there a lot.
And Gravel Stevo 179, welcome. He says Bon Jovi, Loverboy, Cinderella. Loverboy would be different because they were out earlier than that, and they had basically broken up by the time the hair metal scene really
they were
broke
gone.
big. And see you later, 2 and 3 chord jams. Thanks for stopping in.
See ya, 2 and 3 chord.
It was called When Metal Ruled the World. I put the link in the chat.
Oh yeah,
that's
I've
great.
That is a great watch.
Yeah.
That anyone should you'll enjoy it.
There's another one on Ricky Rackman as well, when he started early days with all those bands and his all through the glam era with MTV.
Well, that may be it because he's in that. He's
one of the key figures for all of it. There's a kind of a face, but there's a couple of different shows. One of them's all about him, more about him, right through to Pantera and everything, because that's when he kind of got axed.
So someone said, what about Tesla? Tesla is one of those interesting bands. I see Tesla like Toto. Right? Really, really talented musicians.
Great players, yes.
Amazing musicians, but they never really, they were like straddled genres, right? They weren't really knee deep in any of it. I think
unfortunately their biggest hit was a cover song, right?
Yeah.
Like their cover of Signs seemed to be their biggest hit.
No, it was they had another one. Was it Love Song? I think it was called Love Song.
Oh yeah, Love Song. Yeah. And I think that was the follow-up to Signs.
Something Rockin' Cowboy. They definitely had some hits.
They had an album called Bust a Nut that's just incredibly good.
They were always on the radio down here.
Yeah. How would you categorize them though? Where do they fit? Because they weren't really hair band.
They're not hair band, but I think Lewis, if I'm not mistaken, I think they came in more on the tail end of the hair thing, right? And so they were sort of like between two worlls, so to speak.
I'd say they were more of a blues rock, like Guns N' Roses.
But they had a country element too. I think almost like there's a little bit of country in there.
Texas or something like that.
Yeah. They had a little southern rock thing going, but they were just a really, really good band. Like you said, incredible guitar players,
incredible musicians,
incredible guitar players, man.
Any guitar player in a hair metal band was top tier back then.
Absolutely,
yeah. There was just a man that was.
Well, let's put it like this: there was no fudging it in a hair band. because those guitarists, like you take and you name any one of them, Warren DeMartini, Vito Bratta, CC DeVille, they tremendous guitarists. Like you can't, even to this day, I don't think people could touch, you know, the level of playing that these guys. Listen, people could copy them, but these guys wrote it. They wrote the book, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And even, I would say, even some of the lesser players, because I still listen to a lot of that stuff, like on Spotify. But even like you'll listen to a quote unquote lesser player in a random song, his lead break is still like an Ace Frehley style lead break, which is very much a rock and roll rockabilly licks. But the way Ace Frehley doubled up what Chuck Berry did, they doubled it up again. You know, and I'm listening to it and I'm like, well, that's Chuck Berry, but at 4 times the speed and 4 times the gain. But it was great stuff and it worked.
Well, they had a lot of melody in their shredding. That was, you know, now you see a lot of shredding on YouTube, and it's sort of real fast, and it's incredible to watch. But back then, they were playing that fast, but there was melody. There was key notes that they were hitting and taking you on a journey. It was a whole different thing.
If you could play the solo in your mind, that's a good song.
That's it.
If I can hum it.
Right. But if it's this mindless whatever, it's, you know, like you said, they had the solos were like subsections of the song unto it.
Totally.
Like Kiss, I love Kiss. Yes. But when was the last time you said, I got to learn that Ace Frehley solo? Like, right? You know what I mean? It was almost filler, but where in the 80s hair bands, it was melody. I think that was the big difference with the solos.
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to have to disagree with you, Lewis.
Okay.
Ace Frehley's solos were the highlights of pretty much every Kiss song right up until, man, I'll even go as far as Unmasked.
You know, okay, listen.
His solos were songs within songs.
You're right. When I think of like the solo and Detroit Rock City.
Well, you're such a you and Kiss, man. It's funny. I was going to say earlier, I don't think I've ever seen a show that you're on when you haven't mentioned Kiss.
I did mention it, by the way.
You started it. As soon as he came on with the T-shirt, you mentioned it.
Oh, sorry. He wore the shirt. I didn't.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'll give it to you. I will take back what I said. Maybe it was a bad example, but I think you know what I meant. There are when a lot of bands will use solos as filler. And you're right. You're right. That was a bad example on my part. When you think about like the solo to Detroit Rock City, that's a solo everybody wants to play. So I gave a bad example. So I take it back. But I guess what I'm trying to say is a solo as filler was different than the solos you heard in the 80s. Yeah. You know. Yeah, you're right. That was a really bad example now that I think about all the songs.
Neil Schon from Journey. You take a Neil Schon solo out of a Journey song, and that song just dropped about 20 points. Because his solos elevate every song that Journey plays. Think about Stone in Love. Take Neil Schon out of that song. That song is crap. I mean, I can go on and on. And any of their hits, take Neil Schon out of it. Right? That's the mark of a good guitar player. They're playing basically a song within a song. They're taking the song and they're just bringing it up another notch. And that's what a really good guitar solo is. And what happened in the 80s is the technicality was there, but a lot of people forgot about the song. Right? Not all of them. There's some really great solos that were written there and a lot of great, music in that, but sometimes it sort of went too far in that direction where it became just the shred thing. Right. That's just my opinion, obviously. So I tend to like more the Neil Shons of the world, the Ace Frehleys of the world, the Jimmy Pages of the world, that sort of thing, because they're literally making a musical statement in pretty much every, like, you can't hear a Zeppelin song without having that Jimmy Page lead break in it. It's not the same.
Yep.
I'll tell you who else was a master was Dimebag, because I think because he came out the 80s, because they were a spandex glam band until that switch hit. And if you ever watch their story on how it switched and the crowd's turning up, it mental. But he came out of that 80s melodic glammy stuff, and when lead playing was dying, Pantera, Dime was still singing the song for the solos, man, and they were musical and melodic in the heaviest of most brutal songs. his solos were still melodic.
Yeah, exactly.
Very much so, yeah. And that was the thing, and it was funny because there was only a handful of bands that really survived the whole grunge invasion, and Pantera was one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they just kept, like that was the funny part is like walking around downtown or outside, going to the record shop. There's a bunch of people that would wear, say, a Nirvana, Pearl Jam shirts, but there was always somebody with the Pantera shirt on.
Yeah, they weren't even surviving. They were peaking. They were growing as grunge was happening. They were soaring up.
We'll see you later. Four Walls Music. Will says, "What about Angus Young?" Yeah.
Well, there's
Angus had his spot in every song.
There's another.
Because they'd be just doing good old bar rock or what have you, but then Angus would put his stamp on a song, and some of the solos would kind of follow the vocal melodies, and then other times it was just completely different. Jason Wade, see ya.
See you, Jason Wade.
Work on everyone.
Jason, take care, buddy.
You know what's really cool too, if you really analyze, because I mean I think about this shit a lot, but if you look at the '70s guitar players, you got like the Ace Frehleys or the Angus Youngs, or I'll even throw Jimmy Page in there. These guys are basically playing really, really cool solos, but they're pretty much staying pentatonic. Pretty much, they're mixing a little major minor, but they're staying basically in the pentatonic thing. So what happened, I find in the '80s now. In the '80s, they basically expanded the vocabulary. So they're playing more notes. They're playing three notes per string. They're playing the full, the full modal, all the notes basically. And they're carving out a little maybe more intricate melodies, maybe playing a little bit faster, playing this or that, whatever. But that's what I find the big difference is when you listen to '70s guys and when you listen to '80s guys. It's just an expanded note vocabulary.
Sure.
Maybe play a little more technically better, but but a good solo again is a good solo.
Yeah, that's what will never end. Absolutely.
Yep.
Lando headed out for the night. See you, Lando. Yeah, we'll probably wrap things up at the top of the hour, I think.
Let me give you take care, Lando. Let me give you a different example. Like, here's a band I always like, Danzig, right? Right? Everyone has heard Mother, right? Like, that's probably like, not very, like, the solo for a band like Danzig was more filler.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was probably a better example of, here's a band that writes good tunes, but the solo didn't really elevate the song. It was filler. Does that make sense? Do you disagree?
No, I agree. I agree on that.
It's hard to think of a band that in the '80s that didn't have that wasn't filler, because I guess we all violently agree that they were all very talented.
Yeah, you couldn't get away with filler. These were masters. They knew every scale. They were very theory knowledge was incredible, and it's like opera singers. They know exactly what note they're going to hit. It was the same with those guitar players. They could hear it before their fingers were moving.
So let's do something fun. Most underrated band of the '80s. Who do you guys think?
Underrated band of the '80s.
I wonder if anyone in the chat is, when was the '80s?
I don't know. Could you consider Damn Yankees underrated?
I could.
I think they should have gone further than they did.
I think they were actually an awesome band.
That was a super group, yeah. Well, Ted Nugent is a monster player, man.
Yeah.
And their songs were good.
They were really good.
Tommy Shaw is another monster player.
Yeah.
It's hard for me because I just come from England, so I was coming from punk rock and all this crazy British music, all the new wave stuff through the '80s, which was a very different British early '80s scene than America at that point. And I came here in '84.
So let me ask you something. Top 3 or 4 bands you were listening to, like British punk rock. Like what would you say your top bands you were listening to?
The Clash.
Okay.
The Clash. Not the biggest Pistols fan, but obviously love the Pistols. But
Sure.
The Clash, Buzzcocks.
Okay.
Man, I try to think of the names now, but you know, bands in that kind of era. You know,
about the Smiths? Would you say that?
No,
fell
that
out?
wasn't for me. That wasn't for me. That was a very different kind of scene of people, the Smiths.
Okay.
Yeah.
Than for me.
You know who I really liked in that era was Susie and the Banshees. I thought they were great.
See, that was kind of the same scene as the Smiths. You know what I mean?
That was more. What would you call the Smiths? I like the Smiths. I like Morrissey. But what would you call that?
New wave? Was that the new wave back then? Gary Newman and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, I love Gary Newman.
I think new wave more like Depeche Mode, electronica music. But they were definitely
They were around back then, you know.
they were around during new wave, but I don't know if you'd call them new wave.
Well, that in Britain it was new wave. Anything coming out of Britain back then that looked slightly not, you know, rock or anything, it was new wave. You know, anything coming, it was all new wave that back then. You know, if you weren't punk, you were new wave. Or
I think they just called that stuff college music in the 80s.
Right.
Because it was only the college stations that played it.
So you were listening to the Ramones, I would imagine, even though they weren't British.
Myself, no, they weren't really. You know, back then they were. That was more of an American thing. It was like Kiss back then. You know, they hadn't really hit England with that kind of impact. You know, the British scene. Remember, England's really small.
Right.
So when you've got a huge music scene, just punk rockers everywhere you walk on the streets. There's just punks everywhere or whatever. That just it's so every bar and every club is playing music back then. You know, it's different. Americans. I was young, you know. I was focused on the British bands really, and then, like I said, came here in '84, and it was a whole different deal. It was Panama on MTV.
Yeah.
And I remember going to stay. I got picked up at the airport. My sister's friends, who I was going to stay with in Cypress, California. What was I, 18? And walked in, and MTV's on. It was Panama and Hot for Teacher, you know. And I'm like, what's going on here then? And he's like,
yeah.
And I was playing guitar then, and he blew my mind back then. Seeing that, I was like, and then that's back to the 80s of LA and California, because I was here for that whole scene then, straight in the deep end.
I'll tell you, that was a great video, Panama. Great video. All those videos were great.
Epic solo on that.
They were like mini movies, man. They kind of engulfed you in whatever they wanted to engulf you in, you know.
That's what MTV was all about, wasn't it? It was. Yeah.
Going back to your question about underrated bands, actually, I just was reminded looking at the chat, and another band that got lumped in with that sort of hair thing that never really belonged was Extreme. Extreme, their biggest success was also what their worst thing that could have happened was they had that hit song, and then everybody thought they were that kind of band. And then if you listen to Three Sides to Every Story, which is, I think, probably one of the best records that ever came out in that period, and Porn and Graffiti, of course. I mean, these guys were writing great rockin' tunes, and Nuno Betancourt is an absolute guitar master.
He is. He's amazing.
Insanely good. But again, I don't think they got nearly as much exposure as they should have gotten with the rock audience because of that More Than Words, that one hit song.
I think Nuno has gone on record saying like he wished that wasn't, you know, what they were known for, because it was just, you know. And let's be clear, that was not a power ballad. That was like our moms liked that song. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was no big guitar chord, you know, in the second verse, right? Like every other one. Yeah.
I mean, I think Sarah in the chat, he actually called a good one for underrated was King's X. They never really got the fair shake, I think.
No.
They got well down, though. I mean, they were coming through Europe. They were doing world tours, weren't they, King's X?
They were, but they never really got, you know, they were never headlining. You know, they never made it to that stage. And I think it's because they weren't glam, you know, they weren't blue, they weren't alternative. Like, you know, you couldn't really pigeonhole them into a card. And I think that kind of held them back, but it also made them a great band as a result.
You know who I think was underrated? Like when you watch that LA Sunset Strip link I put later, you know who's like not mentioned? A band like the Scorpions.
Oh man.
Scorpions, they wrote amazing songs, amazing vocals, amazing guitar work.
They were
And
amazing.
like
band.
because they're not from LA, they don't even get an honorable mention.
They were
Yeah.
huge in Europe, absolutely huge.
Yeah.
But they started in the 70s though, too, though.
True.
Yeah. Well, there was
True.
the Uli Roth period, and then there was the Matthias Yabs period, right? So there's
I like the latter just because it was my genre.
well, I grew up was with Matthias Yabs, and I've seen them live a few times, and that guy's an insanely good player. He's amazing.
I thought they got a lot of MTV recognition, like Rock You Like a Hurricane and Love at First Sting. That whole 80s period there, you couldn't get them off MTV.
No, they seem to be all over the radio and videos here
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No One Like You, the Blackout record, Love
Great
at First
song,
Sting.
man. What about UFO? Were they underrated or are they 270s? I mean, UFO?
I think that was probably 270s.
That was
Right.
70s.
Yeah,
Because they never really got
I
a.
only just got into UFO in the last few years
Right.
myself.
I just got into I only really got into UFO the last few years too, because I started going through a Michael Schenker thing.
Here's a couple names again from England, TK, like the Stranglers and
Okay.
Ian Dury and the Blockheads. You know,
Hit me with your rhythm stick.
Never heard of them.
serious musicians right there. The Blockheads. They were some of the best musicians in existence.
You got to email me some links of. I'm always open to hear some new stuff. Send me some links. I'd love to check out your playlist. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely will. Wow. Yeah.
You know what band came out of that period in England, JJ? That is still actually, I think they're kind of still around today, but they completely morphed. It was the Cult. They were the Southern Death Cult.
I love the Cult.
I absolutely love the Cult too. I'm a huge Billy Duffy fan, and then they became the Cult, and I think
they were English. They were out of England.
Yeah, they jumped here in like '86. They came into the States and just blew up.
Yeah.
That one album just blew up.
Fire Woman,
the Cult.
That was
I remember that now.
The album was a hit.
Yeah, the Love album, and then they did the Sonic Temple. No, it was like what, Electric, and then Sonic Temple.
Was Sonic Temple the one with Fire Woman? I think was the song. That was great.
Yeah, that's a great. And then the one after that, Ceremony, I think it's called. Yeah,
I was listening to them. I was listening to them when I was listening to like Temple of the Dog. Like, I think that was, or maybe it came out before then. I like, it's funny when you think about grunge. I actually, of course, we all listen to Nirvana and stuff, but I think I liked the less popular grunge bands more than the popular grunge bands. Like Temple of the Dog is an example. Their music,
the more metalier type stuff like Soundgarden, Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Well, because that stuff came out before grunge hit. Like Soundgarden, they were 3-4 albums in before grunge hit.
Mother Love Bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains.
Yeah. Alice in Chains, man.
Jerry Cantrell's guitar tone.
I remember when I first heard them, it was like that like hits you right in the gut. We went from nothing but a good time to like, whoa.
The Rooster.
yeah. I'll tell you, it was I think
like watching the local weekly metal show here in Canada, and like say it's nothing but a good time, and then Alice in Chains comes on with Them Bones, and I was like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah, dude, and like first tours were like Van Halen, Metallica.
Yep.
The crowd were like, what?
Yeah, L7, that's a good one, thrash metal. I was always a big fan of L7.
L7.
Yeah, Dinosaur Jr.
Still love Dinosaur Jr.
Dinosaur Jr. I think is still around.
Jay Mascis.
Oh yeah. Actually, I watched an interview with Jay Mascis last year. He just learned how to palm mute last year. Guy's been touring for 20 years, and he just learned how to palm mute.
Dinosaur Jr. What genre is that? I've heard of them, of course, but I can't tell you.
They were like they were the underground of the grunge scene for sure.
Grunge.
Got it. Okay.
Grunge. They were out of that area, but didn't make it to the big skies like everyone else. But on the underground and still getting radio play.
But they were kind of grunge rock, maybe.
Other band, Sebido. That was an institution since the late '80s.
Which one was that?
Sebido. which is the bass player from Dinosaur Jr.'s other band, Lou Barlow.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Great
But all
stuff.
those guys too, they were all anti-rock stars. All of those bands, they were all anti-rock stars. They didn't want to, you know, all the spandex and all the big hair that all went. We want to
Oh,
look like we just, you know, got off work. That
Yeah.
went completely the other way. Even the instruments they were playing, right? No more like flashy guitars, no more pointy
Yeah,
guitars.
just give me a pawn shop special.
They were wearing flannel shirts like you're wearing right there.
Exactly. Yeah, it all went the completely opposite way.
Once the dark and the down tuning started coming in, that was it. It was on. I mean, who's going to be smiling when you're in drop B?
Yeah.
This sounds happy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I'm going to wrap things up here. If you want to hold the line, Guitar Hack, do you have any parting words, good sir?
No, it's just a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on. These things are always fun. I will be doing a show on Tuesday at 9 p.m. if folks want to check that out. And thanks again for the Merch for Cancer thing and your support there. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Very cool. JJ, I get to see you in less than 3 weeks, brother.
Yeah, rock on. Keep your eyes out for the mayhem with all us lot at NAM. And yeah, thanks everyone for dropping in. Shout out to the Strung Out podcast. Me and Adam, we're trying to get that moving pretty soon once the sound starts working. And yeah, we can talk aliens.
There we go. TK, always a pleasure having you on, my friend. Any parting words?
Well, it wouldn't be me if I didn't leave everyone off with one of those bad boys.
Nice.
Thank you for the invite. It's always I'm sorry with the internet connection and coming on late. But I always it's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys. So thank you.
Awesome. Terry.
Thanks for having me on again. Great to be on with TK and JJ and Guitar Hack and seeing everybody else in the side chat. And again, trying to keep with the theme of keeping positive.
Yes,
I agree fully. And if you haven't left a thumbs up, or if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and leave a thumbs up. I just looked. We're at 98 thumbs ups. That's insane. That's definitely a new record on this channel.
There you go. Giddy up.
99.
I haven't even done one yet. So
there we go. So yeah, as you guys know, links down below to some cool channels. If you want to help out with the channel, there's links for that as well. We appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that did donate earlier tonight. Hold those doors open. Let that guy in ahead of you in traffic. Do good things, and good things will happen to you because karma is real. I had a blast tonight. I'm looking forward to NAMM. We'll hang out with these guys the first Sunday in February, likely talking about NAMM adventures. And tune in Thursday night at 8 p.m. for Canucks with Guitars, and we'll do it all again with Richie. So until next time, cheers, folks.
rock on, guitar freaks.